Okay, you know what? Fine. That's fine. This is fine. I totally meant to press that button. Uh-huh. Totes. Totes, totes. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome on in. It's time for an early hours, rather, I guess, of Chaos Child. Because I want us to get Chapter 8 done and out of the way before we have a holiday raid train come in at 9. Because this isn't, I don't know. I love Chaos Child. I just don't think it's appropriate for a holiday raid train. I'm sure you guys understand. Especially since we're in the depths of it. We're about to start Chapter 8, and we have an upcoming murder as well. That part is just now dawning on me. So really would not be great to have a holiday raid train come into that. Heads up for YouTube, if you're only watching on YouTube, when I will be done streaming when we are done with Chaos Child. If you want to participate for the holiday raid train, you will have to plop over to Twitch when we're done here. What do you mean holiday raiders don't want to see murder? I mean, they might be fine with it, but I'd rather be more hospitable than death. You know? Also, in favor of time, I will not be reading any tips out loud as we get to them. If we do have plenty of time, by the time we're done with the chapter, I will go ahead and read them aloud all in a row anyways. But I will be skipping them as we approach them, unlike normal, just in favor of time. But, last chapter was a time. The little, the tiny, I'm blanking on her name, but the little gal, she is secured in a home now. Yippee. Chapter 8 is called Betrayal, which doesn't bode well. Yippee. God, we're so close to being done with the common route. That's crazy to me. Because after this chapter, this is only chapter 9 and then chapter 10. Wild. But I guess I'll stop yapping and just get right into those Shaolintai words. We're starting with screaming. Fuck yeah. I gritted my teeth to keep myself from screaming and ran back into the cafe. Right. Oh, okay. Right, so recap. Since it was the day of the next murder, they decided to stay as a group to lower their likelihood of getting killed next. And they went to the cafe as one of their last stops. And while they're here, Takuru's possibly having a delusion here, or this might be reality. We don't know yet. But things aren't looking so great, because the group is gone, and it's just Takuru, and the person he thinks is gonna try to kill him. Yippee! I closed the door as quietly as I could. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm so scared. She's going to kill me. 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 Minamisawa Senri is going to kill me. Somebody. Somebody. I tried to scream for help, but my voice got caught in my throat. Even if I'd been able to scream, no one was there to help me. Kurisu was gone. Sarika was gone. So were Ito, Arimura, Kazuki, and Yamazoe. Even the waitress had disappeared. And the lighting seemed to have turned into a more faded yellow too. The cafe was much darker than usual. Why? Why did everyone disappear? I was too scared to speak or do anything except slowly move backward, away from the door. Finally, I hit the wall and found myself with nowhere to run. That's right. My power. I can use my power. I could knock her flames away again. I do not speak Spanish, unfortunately. So I have no idea what you're saying, Delmer. I already forgot if I read this. And I could knock her flames away again. I tried desperately to psych myself up for the fight. But why? It was nowhere in sight. The D-sword. The D-sword didn't appear. Why now? Of all times? No matter how much I tried to concentrate, the terror won out, and my D-sword refused to appear. I could hear the loud clicking of a heel against the floor past the entrance to the cafe, and the sound of a leg sliding along the ground. She was coming to bring me a merciless death. No, there has to be somewhere to hide. I looked around and saw a door on the other side of the kitchen. It was the employee bathroom. I flung myself away from the wall, ripped open the door, and went inside. Then I locked the door with my shaking hands. And there were no windows inside the bathroom. I had run inside without even bothering to turn on the lights, so it was pitch black. In that cramped and closed space, my heart My heart started to pound fast, and my breathing became heavy. Just going to hear me. I need to be quiet. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle the sound. It hurt to breathe. But if I couldn't be quiet, she'd find me, kill me. Minami saw Wes Henry's footsteps. Finally reached this floor. Hello, Spain. Welcome on in. And then she suddenly stopped. All I could hear now was an eerie silence. I could almost sense somehow that she was looking for me. Just go away. Leave me alone. I prayed, but it was a waste of time. She came inside the cafe. The footsteps started again. Slowly. She's here. The woman slowly moved around the cafe. I could hear her dragging her leg from one side of the cafe to the other, as if she was toying with me. Each time she moved, she knocked glasses and cups to the floor where they shattered. All I could do was try not to scream. I remembered all the horrible ways the other psychics had died. Don't look, audio bleed, revolving deads, morbidly obese. Just like the others, would anguish be the last thing I felt as they stripped away my humanity and brutalized my body? No, I don't want to die like that. You would be phasing out of existence at this point. Tucker has nerves of steel. Fair enough. How much time had passed after that, and I didn't know. Welcome in, Skullabloke. Suddenly, Minami saw Wes Henry's footsteps started to get farther and farther away. Huh? I couldn't tell from here, but it felt like she might be about to leave. Am I safe? I concentrated as hard as I could on listening to those eerie footsteps. I could hear a door open and close, and then that awful dragging sound again, This time going down the stairs. And then soon after, there was no sound at all. Uh-huh. I panted in relief. I did it. I made it. I'm not going to be a victim of the return of the new gen madness after all. That lovely knock. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It was so utterly unexpected that I couldn't stop myself from screaming. The knocking stopped for an instant. I could sense that someone was looking at me from the other side of the flimsy door. This can't be happening. She just went down the stairs. The knocking started again. It's that same knock. The same one I heard at the hotel. And slowly, but steadily, it continued. The interval between each knock was identical and mechanical. Knock, 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 knock. I tried to get as far away from the door as I could. But the bathroom was tiny, and there was nowhere to run. Damn you! Fine, you wanna fight? You'll get one, even if I can't use my power. I won't let her just kill me, rather. I'll catch her my damn self. Can I really beat a pyrokinetic with my bare hands? The thought flashed through my mind for an instant. But I knew I couldn't take the terror anymore. I was at my limit. Take this! I screamed, unlocked the door, and slammed into it as hard as I could. And the bathroom door opened with a bang. Yep, called it. Overcome with terror, I screamed and slammed the person in front of me to the floor. No! But... What are you doing, Takaru? At the last minute, someone grabbed my head from the side. A pleasant scent that I knew well filled my nose.
Huh?
What's gotten into you? You know... Kurisu was right next to me, holding me. And... You're heavy, Taku. You're crushing me. My insides are gonna come out. Poor Sarika. Huh? What? The person I had knocked to the floor was Sarika. If I had hit her any harder, I would have badly hurt her. Miyashiro-senpai, you're so bold. Trying to take Sandy's first time in a place like this, huh? Hinae, that is... I'm not... Anyway. I shook off Kurisu's arm and stood up. But where did she go? Where'd who go? Everyone looked confused. As they would. Sarika stood up, rubbed her butt, and started to look around the room. Which woman? She was just here. The one who tried to kill me. Wait, where are you? Wait, where have you guys been? I can't read. Fuck. Huh? We've been here the whole time. Ito stood up from the sofa by the window. Yamazoe and Kazuki were sitting next to him with surprised looks on their faces. Hey, peasants. You're being a bit loud. Any more and I'll have to ask you to leave. Honestly, valid. Even the waitress was here too. That's impossible. But I know I was just attacked. Right in this cafe. Oh, delusions are fun, aren't they? Was that just a dream? I mean, not entirely dissimilar, I guess. No, that wasn't a dream. It was so real. I could still remember the sound of her leg dragging and the sound of the knocking at the door. Just thinking of them made me shiver. Is this another power Minamizawa Senri has? She made a fake cafe lax and trapped me in it. I guess not impossible. I thought she was just a pyrokinetic. Could she do that as well? Or maybe there's another psychic helping her? Either way, the possibility we discussed in this paper club meeting was right, and in a bad way. Wait, are you okay, Takuru? You're sweating badly. Kurisu took out a handkerchief from her pocket and started to gently wipe the sweat off my forehead. But her hand suddenly froze. She looked at me, her face pale. Takuru, there's blood coming out of your eyes. Oof. Huh? I put my hand up to my eyes, surprised. When I tried to rub them, I felt something slick, and when I looked at my hands, they were bright red. I could see my blood on her handkerchief too. Had I been so scared and tense that the blood vessels around my eyes had burst? What happened? Are you okay, Miyashiro? Yeah. We need to have Dad take a look at this. Let's go, Taku. Kurisu and Sarika tried to drag me out of the cafe. I could see Ito, Arimura, Kazuki, and Yamazoe in the corner of my eye, trying to figure out what to do. I turned to them and said, Ito, Arimura, Kazuki, and Yamazoe too. All of you should come too. Huh? Oh, okay. Is it okay for me to come along at a time like this? Now's not the time to worry about it. We know that they're targeting sidekicks. Just stay with us until the day is over. We left Cafe Lax and headed for Alba Clinic. No problems with their eyes. Retinas look good. Blood pressure's normal. Dad nodded as he looked at me. Any headaches? Numbness anywhere? Not really. No gaps in your vision? No narrowed field of view? None. I see. Then you're fine. Are you sure? Take a closer look. Kurisu was sitting next to me, worried. You keep saying that. But there are blood vessels on the back of the eyelids. Once in a while, they can burst. Especially under great stress, excitement, or strain. Does that ring any bells, Takuru? Gestures to great stress. Yeah, that rings a bell. I remember the attack at Cafe Lax and shivered. But I nodded before Dad could see. See? That's the cause. Don't worry. Dad called up my chart on the computer, and the same one he'd been using since I was in a coma. He started to type something. Come on, no. Don't glare at me like that. What if something happens to him? Fine. Let's stop typing and open another page on the chart. Takaru, I'll write you a referral so you can go and get some brain scans done tomorrow. Huh? But... just do it. I don't want my daughter getting mad and refusing to talk to me. She would. Okay. Dad wrote me another referral to the same hospital as before, which was finally enough to satisfy Nono. No, right, Nono. Don't forget that you're still recovering from an injury, too. Yeah, she got stabbed. I kind of forgot about that, because so much other shit's happened since. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. As long as you understand. Dad smiled. Kurisu and I thanked Dad, and then went up to the dining room where the rest of the group was waiting. Uki. I'll have some apple tea. Me too. Alright. What about you, Ito-san? Coffee. Black. Okay. When we got to the dining room, Yamazoe was running around getting drinks for everyone. I looked at the clock, and it was almost 11 p.m. There was just one more hour until October 23rd was over. So, can you tell us what happened back there, Miyashiro-senpai? Animira looked at me as she sipped her apple tea. She had the same joking voice she used at school, but her eyes were serious. She seemed to have come up with her own ideas on what might have happened to me, and her eyes were as gloomy as they were when we'd first met. Alright. I'll tell you. It was the pyrokinetic. Yeah, what she said. Yeah. I glanced at Kurisu just for a second. I thought she wouldn't want to hear that her old friend might be a serial killer. Kurisu, and this is going to upset you. You can go back to your room. Go be with Dad and the kids. No. Tell me. Kurisu. I want to hear it. That's why I'm here. I see. Okay. I sat down in a chair at the diner table, and, after a moment's hesitation, slowly began to describe what happened to me at Cafe Lax. As I talked, the terror started to come back to me, and my hands were soon covered in a nasty sweat. I didn't want to look bad in front of everyone, but I couldn't stop my voice from shaking. You know what happened after that? I opened the door, and outside, the cafe was completely normal. There was silence for a moment after I finished. Animira especially seemed to be lost in thought. That was, of course, because Minamisa was centering probably after me, her, or Yamazoe. I'm not letting her kill me. She whispered that in a low voice, and suddenly stuck her hand out into the air. Hey. Yamazoe and I moved away, surprised. Animira had suddenly drawn her D-sword. What are you doing? What does it look like? Getting a weapon. A weapon? You can summon yours too, right, Uki? She shows up. I'm fighting. Help me. Fine, I can't. Just do it. Valid response. Yamazoe tried to shake her head to say no, but when Arimura glared at her threateningly, she bit her lip. And then she reached out her hand. Whoa. A giant sword appeared in her hand too. I love her D-sword as well. You too, Miyashiro-senpai. Hurry. But I don't know how to grab it. You're useless. I guess the dog has an objection to that as well. I could hear how annoyed she was. It had been a long time since I'd seen her act this cold. Hey, what's going on? What's up? What are you talking about? The others couldn't see the D-sword. All they saw was Yamazoe and I freaking out. We were attacked by Minamisawa Senri once already. And today, you. You can't take this anymore, so... Arimura looked at the sword in her hands and cackled. I'm gonna end this case myself. I'm gonna kill Minamisawa Senri. Wait a minute. Everyone turned to look at Kurisu. She probably knew she was getting too emotional about the situation, because she was hesitating more than I'd ever seen before. Are we absolutely sure that Senri is the killer? The only evidence is that ID card and what we saw. Her name's on the memorial. It has to be some kind of mistake. The data we found inside the hospital said she was only missing, right? But I saw it myself. Senri is crushed by rubble right in front of me. She must have been remembering something painful. She put her hands to her chest, and her nugs dug in deep. But then, Arimura raised her eyebrows so high that I could see it from here. Why are you lying? Oof. Shocked, I glanced at them from one to the other. Arimura was staring at Kurisu with suspicious eyes. But Kurisu's expression remained unchanged, to the point where it almost seemed unnatural. What you just said was a lie. Arimura's power allowed her to see what the blah 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 blah. Arimura's power allowed her to tell when someone was lying. In other words, Kurisu was definitely lying right now. But Kurisu looked Arimura dead in the eyes as she spoke. I'm not lying. No. You didn't see Minamisawa Senri die, senpai. I don't know how accurate that power of yours is, but she's gone. That's just what you want to believe, isn't it? Or maybe you know she's alive after all. The two of them glared at each other. Just hypothetically. Yes. Even if she survived, she could never kill anyone. There's no way. Kurisu's voice took on a sorrowful note. I can read. Senri. She was a very cowardly girl. She was so
小さな
timid.
虫を
She
殺す
can
こと
even
もで
hurt a
きないくら
fly.
い気が弱くて
And whenever something happened,
何かあ
she
る
would
と
start
すぐに泣き
crying.
べさをかいて
That's why she was always following
だから
other people around.
いつも誰かの後をついて回っていたわ。もちろん暴
Of
力な
course,
んて
she
嫌いだった
hated
し
violence. She
血を見
even
るのす
hated
ら
just the
苦手だ
sight
っ
of
た。
blood. I just can't imagine that she'd ever kill
猟
someone.
奇殺人
It's
なんて
impossible.
私にはどうしても納得がいかない。ありえないわ。どうやら
Seems
今
like
度
you're
は
telling
本
the
当のこ
truth
とを言
this
っているよう
time.
ですね。だから
That's why. Kurisu's voice was rarely this emotional, but she must have realized that nothing else she said would matter, so she fell silent.
とにか
The
く
point is,
セン
if
リが
Senri
犯人
isn't
じゃ
the
ないと
killer,
したら
then your
タ
hypothesis
クル
is
たちの憶
completely
測は
wrong.
完全に間違ってしま
What
っ
if
てい
someone
るわ。
else is the real killer?
真犯人が他にいたらどうする気なの。
That's... Of course, I thought about that possibility. That there might be multiple killers. There might be another psychic working with Minamisawa Senri.
でも
Even if that is the case,
今
as
日が
long
終
as
わ
we
るまで
can make it
誰
to
も
the end
殺
of
さ
the
れなけ
day,
れば
we win.
僕らの勝ち。
Everyone leapt out of their chairs as we heard a scream from downstairs. Was that Yui's voice? Yui! Kurusu ran down the stairs. We followed right after her. Yui had fallen backward onto the ground near the front desk. Her face was pale and her teeth were chattering.
お姉ちゃん、ねえ
Yui,
どうしたの
what's going on?
Yui!
Yui, are you okay?
Yui!
Yui! Yudo and Dad grabbed her and held her tight, but she was still shaking. The terror had completely consumed her.
何があったの
What happened, Yui?
お姉ちゃん
Nexus.
しっかりしな
Get
さ
a
い。
hold of yourself. Kurisu grabbed her cheeks and yelled. I was going to go to bed.
寝ようと
Then
思っ
I
て
went to say goodnight to
父さんに
Dad.
おやすみの挨拶して。
おやすみなさ
Good night.
い。父さんも
Don't
無
work
理し
too
ない
hard,
でもう
Dad.
寝たら
Why not go to bed?
そう
If you think I'm working too hard, go complain to Nono. Thanks to her, I've got to do extra work.
ナナ姉は
Fixes acts totally different when it comes to Big
人が変
Bro.
わるから
違いねえ
You
な
got that right.
じゃ
Anyway, good night.
おやすみ
Yeah, good night. And then I left the exam room to go back upstairs.
診察室を出たんだけど、その
And
時
then I heard a sound from the front door.
音が
Someone knocked. I thought it might be
休館
a
の人
patient
か
who
な
needed
って
help,
思って
so I answered.
それで返事をしたの。
すみません
I'm sorry,
今日の診
we're
察は
closed
終わ
for the
りなん
day.
です
If you really need help, I can tell you where to find a hospital that's open 24 hours.
あの
Um,
どうなっ
what's
ちゃいま
wrong?
した
Should
救
I
急車
call
呼
an
んだ方がいいで
ambulance?
すか
What is this? If this is a prank, please stop it right now. I said stop, please.
私
I got really
すごく
scared,
怖くなって。
but outside. Maima's dog. This is a bad time for dog.
外
I looked outside. Cat. Sheesh. The cat, like, meowed in a way that kind of was similar to Yui's scream, so, like, if I did not have headphones in, I would have sworn he was trying to imitate her. It's okay now. It's okay, Yui. Kurisu gently rubbed her head, and at last the dam burst and Yui started to cry. Big sis. Big sis. Everyone looked at each other, pale, as you listened to her sob. Unedited and I in particular had gone as deathly white as Yui. Knocking. That was the same thing I'd heard at the cafe. So she did follow us. Yeah. I could feel my knees shaking. I remember the knocking and the dragging footsteps I heard at the cafe, and my heart began to feel overwhelmed with terror. I felt an impulse to run screaming off into the night, but strangely enough, it was Unedited who gave in before I did. She gritted her teeth so hard that I could hear it from where I was standing, and then ran toward the front entrance. Hey, Unedited! She yanked open the lock on the door and then flung it open. Then she ran out into the street, flailing her D-sword. I'm right here. Stop fucking around and come get me. She kept swinging her D-sword at the shadows formed by the street lights. I'm done with running, and I'm done hiding. If you think you can kill me, come try it. Stop it, Unedited. What are you doing? I grabbed Unedited from behind. She'd clearly gone crazy. Her D-sword hadn't been real-booted yet, so it just slid right through me. If it had been real-booted, I wouldn't have survived. No, let me go. I don't want to die. Calm down. She's trying to make us panic. If you don't stay calm, we lose. Why did this have to happen to me? I never wanted this power. If only I didn't have it. When I saw her, I realized that I'd been making a mistake. For a while now, I'd thought that I was starting to understand Unedited, but I was wrong. A bratty know-it-all. A normal girl who sometimes got excited and wore a childlike smile. And I was always surprised when she did, but I'd also told myself that was who she really was. But I was wrong. She's a weak little girl, whose fate was caught up in events far beyond her control. That's right. If it weren't for these powers, this wouldn't have happened to any of us. No one would have been killed, and no one would have been tortured in those experiments in that basement. I hated myself for ever being proud of my powers. Why did they even exist? Who gave me these and why? Unedited's body was shaking as I held her. Empathetically enough, I was shaking every bit as much. Hey, Miyashiro! Unedited! Ito ran up to us as we sat on the side of the road. Surika, Yamazoe, and Kazuki ran after him. Are you okay? Yeah, we calmed down, thankfully. I lied so as not to worry them. Anyway, let's get back inside. We could be attacked at any minute. And then Ito cut me off and showed me his phone. I flinched away. That's not another phone call, is it? Nito must have guessed what I was thinking, because he quickly shook his head. No, look carefully, Miyashiro. Huh? I stared at the phone. It had the usual wallpaper, the usual apps. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Did you notice? Oh no, wait. Let me see yours. Okay. Sarika took her phone out of her pocket and showed it to me. It showed the same thing that Ito's did. The present time and date. Let's go 12:03 a.m., October 24th. October 23rd was over. Are we saved? Arimita swung her head around and yanked the phone out of Sarika's hands. Her fingers were shaking too much to read what it said. She stared at it again and again, and then... all the strength drained from her tiny body as she collapsed onto me. And then she passed out. Fair. October 23rd. The day of the return of the new Gen Madness. We'd managed to survive it. Kozuki got into her usual gaming position and stretched. She was about to start playing ESO 2. I chuckled as I opened the lid on my lunchbox. Everything was starting to return to normal. Inside the lunchbox was a sandwich that Kurisu had made for me. Morning had come. It was a Saturday, but it was the one day of the month we went to school on a weekend. We got in some sleep at Alba dorm, then took showers and came to school. Yui and Arimita still hadn't woken up, and were staying at Alba Clinic. Ooh. But neither of them seemed hurt, and Kurisu and Yuki were staying home to take care of them. For my part, I skipped out on morning classes to stop by the brain doctor that Dad had referred me to. The results had been the same as Dad had said. No abnormalities in the blood vessels in my brain. When I told Kurisu over the phone, she sounded relieved. Now then. I wasn't feeling hungry, but I didn't want to let the sandwich go to waste. I took a little nibble of it as I stared at the board on the wall. Is this really over? Is the return of the new Gen Madness all done? The net had been in an uproar last night. No, it still was. But not because something had happened. In fact, the uproar was because nothing had happened. I checked a bunch of different places. TV, radio, and even the newspaper. But nothing happened on the 23rd that would make you think of the new Gen Madness. There were all kinds of rumors going around on the net. This included a weird conspiracy theory that the killer had been captured, but because he was the son of a major politician, they couldn't go public with it. But most people thought that the return of the new generation madness was dead, now that nothing had happened on the 23rd. Okay, so the little post-its that have been added. Nothing happened on 10/23. Is the return of the new generation madness over? But the killer hasn't been arrested yet.
Miyashiro!
No, Miyashiro! You down to the hospital already? Yeah, thanks. And they say I'm fine. Glad to hear it. Ito and Serika were both carrying lunch boxes of their own. Kurisu had made their lunches this morning, just like she'd made mine. Still, pretty lucky that you get to go straight to the club room and eat the minute you arrive at school. And they told me I could just go to afternoon classes. And I wanted to take some time to look at the map and think. Huh?
これ以上
Shinjo-san
何も
told
す
us
るなっ
this
て
morning not to do
今朝
anything
新庄
else,
さんに言われ
right?
たろ。
When we told Shinjo-san that there had been another attack by the person we believed to be Minamisawa's Senri, he demanded to know why we hadn't told him sooner. And then he insisted that we never do anything so dangerous again.
でも考える
But
くらい
it
なら
doesn't
いいだ
hurt to
ろう。
think about it, does it? I put the lid back on my lunch, having barely eaten any of it at all, and looked back at the map.
昨日僕たち
We
は
were
カ
at
フェ
Cafe
ラックス
Lax
に
last night.
い
And
た。
that's
そこ
where
で
it
事件が起
happened.
きた。僕の前
And
に
the
現
one
れ
who
た
I
の
saw
は
was the one who
以前
attacked us
襲ってきた
before.
あの女だった。
Ah. Kunosato. Momose Katsuko. No, it was Minamisawa Senri, as we presume.
そしてその
And
能
she
力
was,
は
precognitive, pyrokinetic, or telepath. Some of these options. Pyrokinetic.
ところがカフェラッ
And
ク
by
スで
the way,
僕を
it was a
襲ったの
different power than
pyrokinesis
pyrokinesis that was used
別の
on
能
me
力
at
だった。
Cafe Lax.
それは
She could tell if I was lying, read my mind, and shared embarrassing secrets, showed me a delusion of being alone, broke things in the cafe without touching them. Shit. Memory bad. It's either showed me a delusion of being alone or broke things in the cafe without touching them. I think it's the breaking things without touching them. No, that wasn't it. Okay. It was the being alone then.
ところがカフェラックスで僕を襲ったのはパイロキネシスじゃなく別の能力だった。それは
Showed me a delusion of being alone.
ってことは
Which means
やっ
that
ぱり
Minamisawa
南沢
Senri
千里は
has two powers
一
after
人で
all.
二つの能力を持ってるって推測が正しいのかな。
いや
No,
ま
we
だ
don't know
確証
for
は持
sure
てない
yet. We can't
別
be
の能
sure
力者
that
が協
another
力してる
psychic
可能
isn't
性を否定
helping
でき
her.
ないし。
それで
And then,
襲わ
the
れた
veins in
時
your
の
eyelids
緊張の
burst
せ
from
い
the
で
stress when you
タ
were
コがまぶ
attacked.
たの血
And we all
管を
moved
切
to
っちゃって
Albador.
結局みんなで青葉寮へ移動したんだよね。
ああ、
Yeah. And then
僕は
Dad
そこ
gave
で
me
父
a
さんの
exam.
診察を受けて
And we waited for the
その後
23rd
みんな
to
で
end.
23日が過ぎるのを待ってた。
そういえば
Hey,
さ、
weren't the vice
あの
president and
時
Arimura
副部長と
arguing
有村
about something?
なんか
Was
言い
that
争い
about
とか
again?
してなかったか。なんだ。
言い争い
Arguing? Hmm?
あ、そう
I
いえ
think I
ば
remember.
えっと
Nono said she didn't believe in psychic powers. Not quite. Nono said she didn't believe Senri was the killer. Yup. Nono got mad that Hina was using her powers too much. Nope. Nono said we should let the police find the killer. Also nope. Yeah. Nono said she didn't believe Senri was the killer. That's right. Nanchan said that Minamisawa Senri-san definitely wasn't the
絶対に
killer.
犯人じゃないって言ったんだよ。
猟奇殺人
Kurisu
なん
said
てで
that
き
she
ること
wasn't
ない
the
って
type
言
of
っ
girl
て
that
た
could do that.
昔
She
親
knew
友だっ
because
た
they
か
were
らな。
friends.
でもさ、
But then Arimura said
と
that she was lying.
有村は
And what did that
副部
mean?
長が嘘をついてるって指摘したんだよ。あれってどういう。
確かあの時
What Arimura
Arimura
said
嘘だ
was
と
a
指摘
lie
したのは
was... It was a lie that she saw Minamisawa Senri die in the earthquake. Yep. It was a lie that Senri couldn't hurt an insect. No. It was a lie that Senri's name was on the memorial. Also no. It was a lie that Senri hated seeing violence and blood. No. It was the seeing Minamisawa Senri die in the earthquake. I
思い出した。
remember.
クルス
Kurisu says she saw
は南沢
Minamisawa
千里
Senri
が目の
die
前で
right
死
in
ぬのを
front of
見
her.
たって言ったんだ。
But that was a lie.
それが嘘
In
だった
other
んだ。
words, Kurisu
つまり
didn't
死ん
see
だと
her
ころを見て
die.
ない。
きっとのんちゃん
I'm
は
sure
ね、
Nanchan didn't like the
親
way
友だ
we
った
were
子が
treating her
犯
best
人
friend as
扱
a
いされ
serial
てるのが
killer.
許せなか
She
ったんだ
probably
よ。
just came up with a lie
それ
really
で
quick.
とっさに嘘をついちゃったんだと思うんだ。
まあ、
And I can
確か
imagine
に
how she
副部長の気
feels.
持ちになってみりゃな。
そう
Yeah,
だな。
you're right.
やっぱり南さん
Maybe I should be more careful about bringing up Minami-sawa's Senri when Kurisu's around. I stuck a paper up on the board. Uncertain Senri died in an earthquake equals she could be the killer. Welcome in, Bear. How's it going?
そして問題はそ
And
の
the
後か。
problems. And what happened after that?
あ
Yeah.
青葉委員の1階で
On the
ユイが
first floor of Alba Clinic, Yui.
ドアがノック
She
され
heard a
るのを
knock at
聞
the
いたん
door,
だよね。
right? The femboy addiction is growing? Well, funny, please do not refer to me as a femboy. As a trans male, that just doesn't feel right. But it's still funny. Congrats on your 3-stream streak. It was the same thing I heard at Cafe Lax, that woman's knock. And Yui had seen a terrifying sight.
僕でさえカフェであれだけ恐怖し
Even
た
I
んだ。
was scared back at the
何も知らな
cafe.
いユイはさぞかし怖かった
It
と思う。
must have been even harder for Yui since she didn't know anything.
うん、
Yeah,
かわいそう。
poor girl. Unfortunately, Yui didn't open the door. She quickly shut and locked it, and saved us at the last minute. And if she'd opened the door all the way. Huh?
いや、
No,
待てよ。
wait. I looked up at the map toward the ceiling. Something seemed very wrong. I think I read that wrong too. I looked up from the map toward the ceiling. Okay. Something seemed very wrong.
お、
Huh?
どうしたの？
What's wrong,
タク。
Taku?
なんか思い出した
Did
の
you
か。
remember something? Serika and Ito looked at me, confused.
いや、なんか
Something's
引っかかった。
bugging me.
も
It
のすご
feels
く
like we
大
missed
変なことを
something
見ようと
really
してる気がする。
important.
え
What?
ん？
Even Kazuki was surprised enough that she turned away from ESO2 to look at me.
大変なこと
Something important?
あ
Yeah.
あ、昨
So
夜はい
much
ろんなこと
happened
があっ
last
て
night without immediate
有
freaking
村が
out
パニクったり
and panicking.
僕も気が動
That I
転してて
didn't notice,
気づかなかっ
but
たけど
that's right. What did I just think to myself? If Yui had opened the door,
当然
of course,
これまでの事
in
件
all
を
of the cases we've seen so far,
ユイも被害
that
者
means she'd end up a victim.
でも
But that also means...
それって
That means... I looked up at the map again.
前にも話した
And
け
I've said
ど
this before,
今回の
but all
事
these
件に
cases have
は
one
一
thing
つ
in
明らかに
common,
共通する特徴があったよな。
っていうと
which is
それは被害
the
者だ。
victims.
最初の事
The
件
victim in the Delma
こっち見んな。
case, for instance.
被害者と次はお友
Then the
達
victim in the audio bleed
被害者と
case.
その特徴は僕が目撃し
And
た
then the
改善
victim in
デ
the
ッ
revolving dead
ド被害
case.
者とその特徴はそして
And
学園
lastly,
祭で起
the
きた
victim
極
of
産
some
です。
morbidly obese.
被害
The
者と
murder
その
that
特徴
happened
は
at school.
そう
That's right.
事件
All
の
the
ターゲッ
victims
ト
were
になっている被害者
psychics.
は
No one
全員
else
能
has been
力者だ。
attacked.
それ以外は襲われていない。だからこそ
And that's why Arimura,
僕や有村
Yamazoe,
や
and
山
I
添
were
は
always
ずっ
so
と警戒してい
cautious.
たわけだし
Not to mention,
事
I was the
実
target at
カフェラッ
Cafe
クスで僕
Wax.
がターゲットにされた。でも
But
青葉寮に
Minami
現
Sawa
れた南沢
Senri,
千
when
里
she
が襲
appeared
撃
at
しよう
Alba
としたの
Dorm,
は
tried to attack. Oh boy, pictures of everyone. I wouldn't say she necessarily tried to attack Yui. Yui just the one that happened to be at the door. But anyways, Yui's the option here.
そう
That's right.
ユイだ。
Yui. Minami Sawa Senri tried to attack equals psychic. I stood up in shock.
まさ
That
か
can't be right.
そん
ゆいちゃん。
Does that mean Yui-chan's a
ってこと
psychic too?
マジ
Are you
かよ
serious? It was far too late for it to make a difference now, but I suddenly felt like a cold pillar of ice was pressed up against my back. I was certain that Minami Sawa Senri had come to Alba Clinic in search of me, Arimura Yamazoe, and that Yui had only been caught up in it because she was because she was unlucky enough to answer the door. But what if I was wrong? What if there was a reason she was after Yui? I sighed. It was hard for me to really believe.
これから確かめ
I'm
てくれ
going to go see if she's
あ
really
い
a
つが本
psychic.
当に能力者なのかどうか
No,
Worry.
sorry.
起こしちゃ
Did I
った
wake you?
あれ
Huh?
タクラ
Big
に
bro,
学校は
shouldn't you be at school?
早退した
I came home early
お前の
because I
こと
was
気になっ
worried
てさ
about you.
え
Huh?
また
You're
ま
being
た
silly. Yui slowly sat up from the bed and smiled a tired smile. Cute. She must have felt dizzy for a moment, because she leaned forward and grabbed her forehead. Her face was still pale, and the ivy looked like it was painful.
いいからそのま
It's
ま寝て
fine.
ろって
You can stay lying down.
でも
But
クレスに言い
I'll
つけ
still
るぞ
kudos you on you if you don't. And those were always the best words to use on Yui. She found for a second, but then laid down and pulled up the covers.
有村は
Where's Arimura? Another bed in the examination room was empty.
お昼ごろ
Around lunchtime,
新庄さん
a
って
detective
刑
named
事さん
Shinjo-san
が来て
came and they
二
left.
人で出か
She
け
said
てい
she'd
っ
be
た
back.
また後で来るって
Shinjo-san was probably asking her about what happened last night.
あいつもう
Is she
体は
feeling
大丈夫
okay?
なのか
うん
Yeah,
元
she
気だっ
looked
たみた
okay.
い
そっか
I see.
タクラ兄にね
She told me to tell you
ありが
things.
とうって伝えてくれって
え
Huh? My eyes went wide as I looked at my foster sister. Arimita said thanks.
何かの
You
聞き間
probably
違いだろ
misheard her.
そんなこと
That's
な
not
いよ
true.
いい
I
人
made
だ
her
よ
son's a
有
good
村さん
person.
タ
I
クラ
think she's
兄にも
grateful
ちゃん
to
と
you.
感謝してると思うけど
聞き間
If you
違いじゃな
didn't
き
hear
ゃ
it
た
wrong,
だの気の
then
迷い
she
だ
must have gone temporarily crazy. I pulled a stool up to Yui's bed and sat down. And then I watched her as she was lying under the covers. It might have been the first time I'd looked at her like this, come to think of it. Did she really have some kind of power? It just seemed hard to believe. Maybe I was mistaken? I hoped that I was. People were saying that the killings were over, and that the return of the new gen madness was at its end. But the killer still hadn't been caught. The idea of the killer being after not just me, Arimura, and Yamazoe, but also Yui was too scary to contemplate.
何
Huh?
どうした
What's
の
wrong? As I tried to figure out the best way to explain things, I heard a very uncomfortable voice. She must have noticed that I was staring at her silently. My sister was looking at me in confusion.
あ
Huh?
あのな
Well,
あらタクル
Takuru,
おかえりなさい
welcome back.
まだお帰りなさいってい
It's
う時
not
間じゃ
time
な
for
い
me
でし
to be
ょ
back, is it? Kurusu was standing at the door, holding a tray with a bowl of rice porridge. Yamazoe was next to her with a pair of spare pajamas. Kurusu put the tray next to the bed and looked at me concerned.
学校早
You
退
left
した
school
の
early?
どこか
Are you
具
not
合で
feeling
も
well?
ごめん
No,
そうじゃ
that's
な
not
く
it.
て
Something
気になるこ
was
とがあってさ
bothering me.
気になること
Something's bothering you? Even if Yui was a psychic, I still wasn't sure if I should tell Kurusu about it. She'd just worry more. But she cared about her sister, I knew that. It was probably better if she knew everything. どうすれば
What's
確
the
かめられ
best
るか
way to
say it? And then I remembered the method that Kunosato-san had used on me. I glanced at Yamazoe. She probably wouldn't like it, but it was the only way I could think of.
なあユイ
Hey, Yui.
夕べのことを
I know you
あんま
probably
り
don't
思い
want to
出したくない
remember
と
a
思う
lot
けど
about
さ
last night, but
有村と
Did you see
そこにい
Unedited
る山添
Yamazu
が
holding
手
something
に
in
何
their
か持っている
hands?
のを見なかったか？
Kurisu and Yamazu were shocked too.
何かっ
What do you mean?
て？
二人は
Did you see them
剣
holding
のよう
things
な
that
ものを持っ
looked
てい
like
たんじゃないか？
swords?
剣。
Swords?
ねえタクル
Takeru, what
あ
are
な
you
た
saying?
何を言ってるの？
Kurisu grabbed me by the arm. She couldn't see a D sword herself, but she knew exactly what I was asking.
ユイ
Yui,
そんな
you
の
didn't
見て
see
ないわ
anything
よ
like
ね
that, right? Nope, I didn't see anything. Not at all. Yui must have been surprised by Kurisu's sudden outburst. It was obvious she was telling a lie. I could see from the look on her face that she thought she'd seen something she wasn't supposed to see.
山添ごめん。
Yamazue, I'm
お
sorry.
前が嫌なことって
Can I ask you to do something I know you won't want to do?
もしもユイが
If
そうな
Yui
ら
is one, I'll have to
犯人が
protect
逮
her
捕さ
too,
れるまで
until the
お
bad
前
guy
や
is
有村と
caught.
同じように
Just like I'm
僕が
protecting you
守らない
and
といけないか
Yura.
ら。
はい。
Okay. Yamazuri was surprised, but she seemed willing to help her old friend. And she put the pajamas on the bed and stretched her hand out into empty air.
ゆいさん、
Yui-san,
見ていてね。
watch carefully, okay?
え
Huh?
あの、
What's going on?
ウキちゃん
Nuki-chan, no, don't! Kurisu let go of my arm and grabbed onto Yui, as though she was trying to stop Yui from seeing it.
クリス、
Kurisu,
ごめん
I'm。sorry.
でも
But we
手
have
遅
to
れにな
know
ってから
before
じゃ
it's
遅い
too
んだ。
late, so...
だから。ほら、
You can see what's in
見えるだろ、
Yamazuri's hands, right?
山添の手に何があるか。
Yuki slowly drew it out of thin air. A nice good look at it again, because this is sick as hell, dude. God, the D swords in this game are so much better than the first. And like the D swords for the first game were good too. So the fact that these ones are better, impressive, immaculate. This one is so fucking cool. Hi Nagiri, you're just in time to see this awesome D sword. As it shone with a light no normal person could see. It was a weapon that connected reality to the Diraxi, and so should have negative energy. A D-sword. Almost like a cow skull? Yeah, similar, for sure. It's really cool. And it was obvious that Yui's eyes were following Yuki's sword. You can see it, Yui.
見えるの？
Can you see it? Yui looked like she was about to cry, and then she nodded, slowly.
山添、もうい
Yamazuri,
い。
that's enough.
ありがとう。
Thanks. And the D-sword disappeared from Muki's hands. There was nothing left but an awkward silence. This...
そんな
This can't be happening. I was right. Yui's a psychic. And meeting Miyazawa's Senri almost killed her last night. October 24th, 2015, Saturday.
この匂いどこかで
The smell. And that was the first thing Shinjo thought as he ducked under the crime scene tape and went inside the third floor condo. He knew this smell. But from where?
あ
Oh,
So-
well, that's right. New
ニ
York.
ューヨークで
Okay. When he was training in America, a local colleague had taken him to a cheap steakhouse. The waiter had brought him a disgusting grilled lamb steak. And the smell was a mix of rotting animal blood and burnt fat. He hadn't even taken a single bite. And that was precisely the smell that filled the room right now. And the dog is boofing and barfing, because of course he is. And the source of the stench was in the middle of the room, on top of the dinner table. The forensics people must have finished their job, because it already had a sheet placed over it. And that was just waiting to be carried out to the coroner. Shinjo put his hands together for a moment in silent prayer, and then flipped up the sheet. Well, that was a sound. The second he saw it, he yanked the handkerchief out of his pocket and forced it to his mouth to stop itself from throwing up. He knew it was disrespectful to the dead, but he couldn't help it. Good evening, sir. He looked up and saw a younger detective talking to the forensics people. The detective lacked his usual energy. This is probably the worst case he'd ever seen. Shinjo didn't want to look bad in front of the younger kid, so he forced the handkerchief away from his mouth. Yeah, good evening. Have we identified the victim yet? Well, the body's in bad shape, and she's not wearing clothes. All we know for sure right now is that she's a woman, somewhere between her teens and 30s. You could see hints on the charred flesh that indicated the body had once belonged to a woman. But the face was so burnt that there was no way to distinguish any features. And what was even stranger was that it looked like a metal stick coming out of her mouth. The rod had come out all the way below her abdomen, like a skier used to cook a kebab. About 10 days ago, we got a report of a piece of rebar being stolen from a nearby construction site. The detective flipped open his notepad. Rebar. You mean those steel bars used to reinforce concrete walls? I mean, that's what it looks like is sticking out of her. Yes. And that's what's coming out of the victim's mouth. I think I saw this in an old movie once. It was an old 80s horror flick that he'd seen with some friends in college. The movie is about a bunch of travelers who got lost in the jungle and eaten by cannibals. In one scene, someone had been cooked like this. And there's one more thing. The horrific scene in front of him called to mind a number of other incidents he'd seen in recent times. Indeed, it was without question that he was reminded of the return of the new gen madness. Is this another one? No, it's not the 23rd anymore. On October 23rd, the killer had spent the whole day going after Miyashiro Takeru and his friends, which meant the target had to be one of them. Shinjo-san. Oh, sorry. Continue. Shinjo put the sheet back on the body again, and made another short prayer. No, they haven't been able to identify the victim yet. I think it's safe to assume that she's the resident of this apartment. That's definitely a safe assumption, methinks. Haida Riko-san, right? That's right. He flipped through his notebook and relayed to Shinjo what he had learned from the condo's manager. 18 years old, single, lived alone. Supposedly she worked for a tech support company out of a temp agency. But when I tried to call the agency, they didn't exist. Either they went out of business, or it's a front company for a prostitution ring. We're looking into it now. So, what makes you think she's the victim? Shinjo took out his own notebook and started to copy down the things he thought were important. Well, for one thing, there's no sign of anyone but her coming to this room ever since she moved in. I'm sorry. Forensics tells me that all the fingerprints and footprints in the room probably belong to her, and there's no sign that anyone's wiped them away. Of course, there are some other fingerprints, but they're all old. They probably belong to the former occupants, or a maintenance worker. Forensics thinks they can be ruled out. And the only shoe marks at the entrance belong to her too.
遺体発見時
When we found the body,
玄関には
both
2
doors
つ
were
の鍵
locked
の
from
他
the
に
inside,
内側
and
か
the
らチ
windows
ェーン
were
ロック
locked
がかかって
too,
いました。
which means it has to be her.
窓もしっかり施錠されていたので本人に間違いないかと。
Shinjo felt a little like he was going to faint.
じゃあ
So,
犯
how
人
did
は
the
どうや
killer
って
get
ここに
in
入っ
here
て
to do this?
犯行に及んだんだ？
It would take some serious equipment to roast an entire person. You couldn't get that in here without leaving any traces. The younger detective must have been thinking the same thing.
これで
If she
普通
died
の
in a
死に
more
方を
normal
しててくれ
way,
れば
we could just write it
自
off
殺って
as
こ
a
とで
suicide without
新庄
having
さん
to
の手を
bother
お借りすることも
you.
なかったんですけど。
死に方に普通も
There
何
is
も
no
ないだろ
normal way to die.
すいません。
I'm sorry, sir.
1階のエントラン
There's a
スに
security
防
camera
犯
on the
カメラ
first
があっ
floor,
たよな。
right?
ええ、
Yes.
部下
One
が
of my
管理
men
人
is
室で
looking
録
at
画
the
のチェッ
footage
クを
in
始
the
めています
manager's
が、
room right
今
now,
のところは
but
何
hasn't
も。
found anything yet.
そうか。
I see. Shinjo looked at the victim, and then at the forensics people. They were frowning as they talked.
あの様子だと
From the look of it,
死
we
亡
won't
時
be
刻
able
の
to
推定も
determine
ま
the
だ
time
無
of
理そうだ
death.
な。
はい。
Correct.
解剖に
Not
回して
without
みな
an
いと何と
autopsy.
も。
If the smoke
火
alarm
災
went
報
off,
知器
we
が
would
作
have
動してい
known
れ
right
ば
away.
すぐに分かったんでしょうが。
The two of them looked up at the useless devices on the ceiling.
壊されていたって
Not broken, I'm told.
はい。
Correct.
誰に？
Who broke them?
いや、
No. If hers are the only
室内には彼
fingerprints
女
in
の
here,
指紋
then it
しか
has
な
to
いん
be
だろう
her,
な。
right?
ということは本人か？
But why would she do that? Shinjo couldn't make any sense of it.
というか、
Anyway,
新庄さん。
Shinjo-san.
俺、
I've never seen
焼死
someone
の現
burn
場
to
っての
death
は初めて
before.
なんですけど、
Do they normally
こん
burn
な
like
風に
this?
燃えるもんなんですか？
わからん。
No idea.
こんな
I've
の
never
俺だ
seen
って
one
初めてだ。
I mean, it's not a common sight, so you know.
鑑識の連中がね
The、forensics people
全
all
員
say they
首をひ
can't
ねってる
figure
んで
it
す。
out.
どうやガソリンや灯
Even
油を使ったっ
gasoline
て
couldn't do this.
こんな風にはならないって。
How about some pyrokinesis? And there's no smell of gasoline anyway. The only stench here was that of burning meat.
俺、
I
前
saw
に
this
テ
on
レビで見
TV
たんですけ
once,
ど、
but no,
い
never
や
mind.
やっぱいいです。
言えよ。
Say it.
最後まで。
怒りません
You won't get
か？
mad.
内容による。
Depends on what you say.
世界の
It
心
is
霊
a
現
special on
象スペシャ
psychic
ルとかいう
phenomena
番
around
組
the
だったか
world.
な。
One
そこで
section was on
人体の発火
spontaneous
現象
human
ってのが
combustion.
やめろ。
Stop it, fool. Shinjo poked the younger detective's head lightly. The detective apologized, but Shinjo hadn't stopped him because it was too unbelievable to be true. He'd stopped him for the opposite reason. He was probably right. Which meant he didn't want rumors flying around, especially within the police department.
パイロキネシスだったな。
Pyrokinesis, I think they called it. Kun Satomiyo, Arimira Hinai, and Miyashiro Takeru had all used that word repeatedly. It was the power to set things on fire with your mind, and they said the woman that was after Miyashiro and his friends, Minamisawa Senri, had it. Was this Haida Riko woman attacked by a pyrokinetic then? He came back to the same conclusion he'd reached earlier, but then soon shook his head.
それでも説
That
明
doesn't
でき
explain
ない
it either.
か。
How did she cut the rebar used to skewer the woman inside the room? And how did she actually skewer the woman herself? Shinjo looked at the large window that dominated the room's east side. The curtain was open, and you could see the chaotic city of Shibuya outside. If the building was taller, the view would be impressive, but from this height, you could see the dirty backsides of the surrounding condos and multi-purpose buildings. It was hard to call it a nice view. That probably made the rent a lot cheaper though, he thought to himself, as he began to examine the glass window. If the killer had used some kind of power to get the rebar from the building across the street, this window would have been shattered. But there wasn't a scratch on it.
こいつは
I don't think
俺
I'm
が
gonna
一
get
人で考
anywhere
え
by
てもど
myself
うにもなら
here.
ないな。
He hated to say it, but he needed a specialist like Kunosato Mio. So for now, he decided to focus on gathering information.
新庄さん、
Yep.
Eh?
What? A light tap on his back brought him back to reality.
防犯カメラをチェ
I
ック
got
した
word from
部
the
下から
guy
連絡
looking at
で
the
す。
security camera
会社の
footage.
顔が
He
はっき
found
り
a
映って
clear
る
shot
映
of
像
the
を見つけま
victim's
した。
face.
そうか。
You did?
行こう。
Let's go. When he finally got out of the room, he felt like he could breathe again. Disrespectful to the dead or not, he took a deep breath when he got outside. He went down to the first floor and looked at the video on the monitor in the manager's room.
管理人の話だと、
He says
ハイ
Haida
ダリコさ
Rika
んは
always
必
hid her
ずカメ
face
ラか
from
ら
the
顔を背け
camera.
るようにしていたそうなんですが、
取られたくない理
Was there
由
some
で
reason
も
she didn't want to be videotaped?
渋谷地震
Her
の時
face
に
got burned during the
顔に火傷
Shibuya
を負ったとか
earthquake, he
で
said.
人に見られ
She
るのを
hated
極
people
端に嫌
seeing
ってたら
her.
しいですね。
ああ、
No,
それで
so that's why.
ただこの時
But
は
this time, he
一瞬です
happened to
が
get a glimpse of
偶然映
her.
ってしまったようです。
The timestamp on the screen indicated it was late at night on the 12th of October.
10月12
October
日
12th?
それ
Isn't
っ
that...
て確か
He remembered writing that day down, so he flipped open to his notebook.
ああそう
Oh,
だ
right.
宮
That's the
君
first
た
day
ちが
Miyashita
初めて
Kurina and
南
Miyuki
沢
were
千里
attacked
に
by
襲われたっていう
Minasawa
夜だ
Senbei.
な。
先輩、
Here's
Haida
Haida
Rika-san,
Rika-san,
kimashita.
sir. He quickly turned his eye back to the screen. Yep, saw that coming. In the video, the door to the entrance opened, and a woman came staggering inside. Perhaps her leg didn't work right, or maybe she was injured, because he could tell she was dragging it. Her hair covered her face, making it impossible to read her expression. But
Oi.
wait, is that...
あれって。
ええ、
Yeah. Shinjo and the other detective gasped. Gasp! Haida Rika was holding a long object in her hands, something like a staff, and using it to support herself. Mobility aid. It looked exactly like the iron rebar that was currently skewering her body.
まさか。
Wait,
自
she
分で
was
持ち
cured
込んだ
on
鉄筋
rebar
で
that she brought in
押し出しに。
herself? It was just a recording, but Shinjo found himself holding his breath nervously, as if he was watching live footage. She walked right by the security camera. It did seem like she wanted to avoid showing her face. However, she must have tripped on something when she was right under the camera, because she suddenly staggered. When she did, her hair flew backward, and you could finally get a glimpse of her face. Shinjo's eyes went wide. It looks just like her. All of her features match the description. They're identical to the composite sketch based on a description by someone who had barely survived an attack by this woman. No way. This is... In the video... The girl in the video was... The video and the girl. Don't worry, Yui. I'll stay with you every minute
ずっと
until
一
it's
緒にいてあ
safe.
げるから。
Okay.
ほら、
Come on.
元気出して。
Cheer up, okay? Okay. Yui nodded. She was still pale. Not only has she gone through a lot last night, but she just found out that she was a psychic. She wasn't looking good at all. I explained to her what I thought she needed to know, and then I told her that no matter what, she must never be alone from now on. It was true that the return of the new gen madness had come to a temporary halt when Minamisawa Senri hadn't been able to kill anyone on the 23rd. But no matter what the rest of the world said, it felt far too early to declare this whole thing over.
でもね、
You know,
こんな時
maybe
に
I
こ
shouldn't
んな
say
ことを
this,
言うのは
but
変かもし
I'm
れない
actually
け
a
ど、
little excited.
お姉ちゃん、ちょっとだけワクワクしてるんだ。
え？
ゆいと一緒
It's
にお
been
風
so
呂
long
に入っ
since
た
I've
り、
gotten to take
寝た
baths
りす
with
る
you
の
or
久
sleep
しぶり
next to
なんだも
you.
の。ゆいったら
I
い
just
つ
grew
の
up
間
So
にか大
fast
人
and
になっ
started
ちゃっ
looking
て、
out for you two as his
すっ
big
かり
sister all this
ゆい
time,
とのお
you
姉
know?
ちゃんになっちゃったでしょ。たまには
But
私
sometimes,
の妹
I
に戻
just
って
want you to
甘
be
え
my
てくれ
little
てもい
sister
い
that I
の
can
に
spoil.
なんて思ってたから。
やだも
Oh,
う。
jeez. Yui smiled just a little.
ユウトはどうする
And
って
what about Yuto?
父さんの部屋
He
に
can
し
stay
ば
in
らく居
Dad's room for a
候。
while.
この部屋
And
で
I
一緒
told him
に
he
寝
could
てい
sleep
い
with
って
us in
言ったん
here,
だけど
but I
ね。
guess I was too embarrassed.
なんか恥
I
ずか
told
し
him
い
I
みたい。
didn't mind, but
私は別に構わないのに。
Well, you're his first crush, big sis. Oh, but don't tell him I told you that.
絶対ね
Ever.
それは光栄だわ
I'm honored.
ねえねえ
Hey,
タクル
Takaru, you hear
頑張ら
that?
ないと
You
ユウ
better
トに
try
私を
harder,
取ら
or
れ
he'll
ちゃ
steal
うわ
my
よ
heart away. Sometimes Kurisu would say things like that, just to enjoy my reaction. Lately, I got a lot better at not reacting the way she wanted me to. I simply snorted, and she puffed up her cheeks and pouted.
で
So,
ユイの能
about your
力なんだけど
power, you really
本当
have
に
no
自
clue
覚
what
と
it
かないの
is.
か
And the small smile vanished from Yui's face.
そんなの
And I don't
急
know.
に言われても
自分の身の
Does
回りで
anything special
特
seem
別
to
なことが
happen
起こったり
around
とか
you?
さ
特別っ
Special?
て言うと
Maybe with you.
ユウのことくらいかな。
Can they, like, read each other's minds?
どんな
Like what?
ユウが嘘つい
Like,
て
I
も
know when he's
すぐに
lying
わ
and
かる
stuff.
とか。
それは超
And that's
能
not a
力じゃない
psychic
わね
power.
お
Every
姉ち
big
ゃんなら
sister
普通
can do
よ
that.
私
I
だ
can
っ
always
て
tell when
タクルが
Takuru's
ついた
lying
嘘
for
なん
one
て
thing.
簡単に見抜けるもの
Is there anyone that can't tell when Takuru's lying? Let's be fucking for real.
だから
Don't
そこ
bring
で
me
僕を
into
引き合いに出
this.
すなよ
And this time my don't react skill failed me. Kurisu chuckled, finally satisfied. Damn it. I felt annoyed for a moment, and then I realized that Kurisu was trying to send me a message.
なるべくユイ
Try
を
not to scare
怖
you
がら
if
せ
you
ないであ
can,
げて
okay? That's what she seemed to be saying. Yeah, she was right. A normal girl like Yui would never be able to handle knowing there might be a serial killer after her. So Kurisu was deliberately pretending to be cheerful.
と
I realized that my tone had probably been too harsh and relaxed it.
他にはないかな
Anything else?
どんなことでもいい
It
ん
doesn't
だけ
matter
ど
what.
他に
Anything else? Yui looked down and thought for a minute.
そういえ
You
ば
know,
本当に
this
時
doesn't
々だけ
happen
ど
often,
ユウの
but
声が
sometimes
聞こ
I
え
feel
る
like I can hear Yu's
ような
voice.
気がする。
声
His voice?
うん。
Yeah,
例え
like
ば
when he
ユウが
forgot
忘
something
れ
and
物
he's
を
in
して困
trouble,
ってた
or
り
he got
怪
hurt
我を
and
して
he's
泣いてた
crying.
り
When
そう
bad
い
things
う
happen,
良くない声が
I hear
聞
it
こえ
like
てき
that.
てそれで
and
急い
then I'll
でユウ
hurry
の
to
学
Yu's
校へ行
school.
くと
And it'll turn out
本
that
当
he
に怪
really
我をして
did
たり
get
するの。
hurt.
なるほど
I see.
そ
Maybe
れかもし
that's
れな
it.
い
And there wasn't a specialist who I couldn't say for sure, but maybe you could call it telepathy between siblings. Kanosato-san might know more, but for whatever reason, she had it out for us, and there was no way I was telling her about Yui. Honestly, good call. Kanosato is...
ユウトには
Does
そう
that
いう
ever
ことは
happen to
ないのかし
Yuto?
ら
大丈夫
Don't worry,
あいつ
he
に能
doesn't
力
have
はな
any
い
powers. And I'd already checked yesterday. I showed him Yamazoe's D-sword, and he hadn't shown any response at all.
なんだか
It
私
feels
は
like
ユ
I'm
ウの
worried
心
about
配してるの
you,
に
but he's not worried
ユウの
about
方は
me.
そうでもないみた
That
い
kind of
で
makes me mad.
ちょっと尺だけどでも
But
いい
I
よね
guess that's a good
ユ
thing.
ウが狙
And
わ
that
れる
means
こ
it's
とはない
safe,
んだもん
right?
ね
Yeah,
あ
he
いつは
shouldn't
タ
be
ー
a
ゲットにされ
target.
ないはずだ
When Yui heard that, she finally seemed to feel better. Kurisu softly put her hand on Yui's head and rubbed it.
本当にいい
You
子
really
ね
are a
ユイ
good
は
girl, Yui.
ちょ
Hey,
や
stop
だ
that!
やめて
Stop!
ダメです
No. Kurisu grabbed Yui before she could escape and held her tight. She looked like she was about to kiss her at any second.
ユイ好きよ
I love you, Yui. I love you. That's cute. Big sis being kinda creepy. Help me, big bro. Thank you for the head pats. And I couldn't help but smile.
気が済むま
Let
で
her
やらせ
do
て
it
や
until
れよ
she
ユイ
tires herself out, Yui. No, save me! Just when I thought it was safe to leave Yui with Kurisu. The three of us froze at the sudden sound of a knock. No way. We're inside our own house. Oh, buddy. The knock continued. Kurisu stood up and positioned herself between Yui and the door. I motioned for her to step back and put my hand on the doorknob. I remember the terror I'd felt at Cafe Lax and gulped. To be honest, I was afraid. Terrified. But I was the only one who could protect them right now. Hello?
Huh?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be something innocent. Suddenly, I heard an easygoing voice come from the other side of the door. Miyashiro-senpai, can I come in? Or are you up to something naughty with Kurisu-senpai? Wait, it's just you? Oh, hey there. Don't hey there me. Don't knock like that. What? I have to knock. What if I walk in on you two in the middle of something? Kurisu and I are not going to be in the middle of anything. Anyway, what do you want? Oh, right. I need to talk to you. Got a second? To me. Can you come to the dining room? Yeah, well, that's fine. Should we go,
私たちも行った方
too?
がいいかしら。
Kurisu poked her face out from behind me and asked. Arimita stuck her hands out and shook them in what looked to me like a deliberate overreaction. No, no. You two just keep on being lovey-dovey. I only need to talk to Miyashiro-senpai.
話って宮代先輩にだけなんで。そう？
Is that so? Arimita said her usual, adios, gracias, to confuse Kurisu, and then dragged me out of the room. What's going on?
来る先
I
輩
don't
に
know
は
if it's something
まだちょっとの
Kurisu-senpai should
話
hear
なんで
yet. Huh?
とにかく来てく
Just
だ
come
さい
with me.
見て
I
ほ
want to
し
show
いも
you
のが
something.
Oh.
Okay. I followed Harimita as she hurried away from Kurisu's room.
あ
Oh,
タク
Taku, how's
ゆいちゃ
Yui-chan
んど
doing?
う
I think she's
もう
okay
大丈夫だ
now.
と思う。
She's calmed down.
落ち着いたよ。
そっか
I see.
よかっ
Good
た
to hear.
ね
Yamazoya was in the kitchen washing dishes. She looked at us. She let out a small sigh of relief. Even if Yamazoya hadn't seen her for a long time, Yui was still her friend, and she was still worried about her.
ひなちゃん
Hina-chan,
お茶飲む
want some tea?
うきちゃんが
Uki-chan
入れて
made
くれ
it.
たのは
It's really good.
とっても美味しいよ
Oh, no. I'm about to
私
go
はそろそろ
home.
家に帰ろうと思ってるんで
Huh? I turned to look at Arimura, surprised. I thought she was staying here because there might be another attack like last night.
ひなちゃん帰っ
Hina-chan,
ちゃう
you're
の
leaving?
もっ
Let's
と
stay here
合
some
宿
more.
していこう
We've
よ
got no school
明日
tomorrow, you
学校お
know.
休みだしいやいや
No, no.
宮
I
代
can't
先
cause
輩
any
のお
more
父
trouble
様
for
にこれ以上ご
Miyashiro-senpai's
迷惑を
father.
おかけするわけに
To be
は
honest, I
って
wasn't
いう
expecting
か
to stay
ぶっ
this
ちゃけ
long,
こん
so
な
I
に泊
might
まり
have
込む
clean
と思ってな
underwear.
かったんで下着の替えとかピンチでして
そんな。
You don't need to worry
別に遠慮し
about
なくて
that
も。
stuff.
おっと
You
ど変態
pervert!
め
You think it's okay for me to show you
限界を突破した
used
下着を遠慮
underwear?
なく見せ
Or
つ
what?
けていい
Are you
の
demanding I show it to you?
む
I
しろ
may owe
じっ
you
くり
for letting
見
me
せろ
stay the
と
night, but I'm not
一触
going
一
that
般の恩義
far.
があろうとそいつは聞けねえ要求だな
Arimita pressed down on the hem of her skirt.
誰が
Nobody's
そんなこと
demanding
要求
anything.
するか。
That's
そういう
not what I'm
話じゃない
talking
だろ。
about.
じゃあ何です
Then
か
what are you talking about?
だから、
I thought
事
you
件
were
が
staying
終わ
here
ったっていう
until
確証が
you
得ら
were
れる
sure
まで
this was all
有
over,
村もここ
right?
にいないか。
It's safer
その
that
方が
way.
安全だろ。
あ
Oh,
あ
I
なるほど
see. Arimita scratched her cheek. And then she took on a more serious look.
セリ、ウ
Seri,
キ
Uki,
悪いんだけど
but
ちょっと
can
だ
you
け
leave the
外し
room
て
for
く
a
れないか
second?
な
She spoke pointedly to Sarika and Yamazoe. And the two of them exchanged glances for a moment, but Arimura wasn't allowing any room for discussion. They left the room.
はあ
Once we were alone, Arimura sighed a little and took her phone out of her pocket.
宮代先
This
輩に
is
話
actually
って
what I
いう
wanted to
の
talk
は
to you about.
実はそのことです
Huh?
つい今し
I
が
just got a
た
message
新
from
庄さんから
Shinjo-san.
メールが来まし
He
て
wants the two of us to confirm
私と
something
先
for
輩
him
に
right
大
away.
至急確認してほしいことがあるって
新
From
庄さんか
Shinjo-san?
すごく嫌なものを送りつけられました
The man has no
デリ
tact.
カシー
I
が
just
ないんで
hate
しょう
him.
ね大嫌いですあの人
Arimura expanded the attached image and looked away from the phone as she handed it to me.
それ
He
防
says
犯
that
カメ
this
ラ
is
の
a
映像
copy
の
of
コ
a
ピーだそう
security
ですよ
camera video. And what I saw in the video was the faces of a woman I would never forget. Minamisawa Senri. My reaction was the opposite of Arimura's. I couldn't tear my eyes away from it.
間違いないですよね
You're sure that's her, right?
じゃあ
Then you
新
tell
庄さ
him,
んには
please.
先輩から
I
そ
don't
う言
want
っ
to
とい
talk
て
to
くだ
him
さい
anymore.
私あの人とはもう話したくないから
No.
ああ、
Yeah.
わかった。
Okay.
これ
Where
どこなんだろう
was this? Arimura seemed annoyed.
その女
The
のマン
message
ション
said it
と
was
か
her
メールには
apartment
書いてあ
building
り
or
ましたけど
something.
マンションを
And
見
they found
つけ
her
た
address.
じゃあ
Did they take her into
南沢千里
custody
は逮
then?
捕されたのか
I finally managed to tear myself away from the screen and look at Arimura. She shrugged a little.
ま
Well,
似たような
more
も
or
のです
less.
だ
So
から
it's okay
私
for
は
me
家
to
に
go
帰
home
っても
now.
平気になりま
Thanks
し
for
た
everything, senpai.
お世話になりました先輩ウキも立
Tell
花
Lucky
姉
and
も
Bix is
もう
Tachibana
安
so they
心して
don't
いい
have to
みたい
worry
ですよ
now.
どういうこ
What
と
do
だ
you mean?
死にました
She's dead.
その女
That woman is dead.
Huh?
Arimura spoke without any real emotion in her voice.
死んだ
Minami-san...
南沢千里
blah, blah, blah. Minamisawa Senri is dead.
ええ
Yeah.
クルス
You
先
should
輩に
come
は
up
う
with
ま
a
く
way
伝
to
えて
break
く
the
ださ
news
い
gently to Kurisu
私
senpai.
そういうの
How
苦手
terrible
なん
all
で
that stuff.
それじゃ
Anyway,
そういうことで
that's what's up.
あとはよろし
Thanks
く
again.
です
She grabbed the phone from my hand and quickly deleted the photo like it was something filthy. And then she bowed and left me alone in the dining room.
セリー
Seri,
ウキ
Uki,
話終
I'm
わ
done
ったよ
talking. I'm
私
going
帰るから
home, so keep
宮
me
代
and Shida
先輩
senpai
の相手
company
し
for a
ないで
while. He's
寂し
lonely.
がってるよ
I could hear her voice from the hallway. I could also hear Serika, Yamazoe, Kurisu, and Yui all talking. And they're probably all saying something like, "You're leaving at this hour?" But I didn't hear their conversation at all.
南沢千里
Minamisawa Senri is dead. And the serial killer who was after us is gone. October 27th, 2015, Tuesday. Haida Riko's condo was cut off from the sunlight by the surrounding buildings, making the whole place feel somehow gloomy. Konosato Miya was standing there, her eyes as cold as ever. She'd gone through all the wooden shelves and colored boxes on the walls, read every last document or receipt inside, and found nothing. You're sure there's nothing in what that... blah blah blah. You're sure there's nothing in what the police took, right?
ああ
Yeah. I
俺
looked
が
at
全
all
部
of
チェ
it,
ックしたん
I'm
だ
sure.
間違いない
Several days had passed since the death of the woman they believed to be Minamisawa Senri. The body had long since been taken out for an autopsy. A few pieces of evidence, like the table the body had been found on, had been taken by the police, but Shinjo-san said that the clue she was looking for wasn't among them. There's nothing here. Am I wasting my time? She spent 2 hours searching the room. Even she was starting to feel a little concerned, but she shook her head to drive the thoughts from her mind. Next, she pulled out the magazines and manga from the shelf and began to check if anything was hidden between the pages.
な
Hey,
なんだ
what? Shinjo was leaning up against the wall and watching her, a frown on his face.
あこの部屋は
This room was
完全な
completely
密室だっ
locked.
た
There's no sign of
彼
anyone
女以
but
外
her ever
誰
being
も出入
here.
りした痕
The
跡が
rebar
な
that
く
killed her was something she
凶器
even
の鉄
brought
筋
here
も彼女
herself.
自身が持ち込んだものだ
それがどう
What
し
of
た
it?
彼女
Just how
は
did she
どうやって
die?
死んだんだろうな
Regardless of whether it was a murder or
自殺か
suicide.
他殺かも含めて
私は
I'm
探
not
偵
a
じゃない
detective. Don't expect me to solve your locked room mysteries for you.
そういう
That's
話
not
をし
what
て
I
るわけじゃ
mean.
ない
I'm asking for
ギ
your
ガロマ
opinion
ニ
on
アッ
how
ク
a
スの死に関し
Giglomaniac
て
could have died.
君の意見を求めてるんだ
She just sounded unhappy as he turned to look at the spot where the burnt body had been found.
ギガロマニアックスは
Dog.
いわゆる超能力者
A
とは違う
Giglomaniac is different from what you typically imagine when thinking about someone with psychic powers.
初めて
The
能
powers
力
can
が
only
発
be
現する
used when there's someone else around for them to share their delusions with.
つまり
In other words,
ここ
if
が
this
誰の
really
目も
was a
届かない
completely
閉
sealed
鎖空間だっ
space,
たのなら
which no one else's eyes could perceive the interior of,
た
no
だ
matter
の人間と同
whose
じだ
eyes they might be, then Minamisawa
Pyrokinesis
Senri
など
would
使える
have
は
been
ずが
no
ない
different from a normal person. She wouldn't have been able to use her pyrokinesis.
だが
But this place wasn't
ここは
completely
閉鎖空
sealed.
間とは違
Take that window, for instance.
う例えば
If someone was looking in
窓
through
の外から
there,
誰
it
か
would
が
have been
覗いて
easy
い
for
れ
her
ば
to share her
妄
delusion
想の
with
共
them.
有など簡単にできる
いや
I thought of that
そこ
too,
までは
of
俺も考
course.
えたさ
なら
Then what's the
何を
problem?
悩むことがある
Nothing here either.
ここもダメか
Kunosato finished checking all the bookshelves and looked around the room, uncertain of what to do next. There wasn't a lot of furniture or appliances. The place was rather plain. The closet and desk were the first places she checked, but she still hadn't found what she was looking for.
ここに住んでい
If
たのが
Minami
南沢
Sawaseni
仙
really
人
did
なら
live here, I
例
was
の
sure
委
to
員
find
会
at
に
least
つな
some
がる
hint
ヒ
of
ン
the
トくらい
committee.
出てくると思ったんだが
There it is, first mention of the committee of 300.
あるいは
I
奴ら
know
の
it
こと
then.
だ
Did they get here before
私よ
I
り先
did?
にすでに回収済みということかくそ
Damn it.
大
It's
体
been too many hours
事
since
件
the
の発生から
murder.
時間が
I
経ちすぎだ
must be able to look at this place immediately. I might have been able to find something first. She looked over her shoulder and glared at Shinjo. Took effort to stop herself from bitching him out. Fine.
上等だ
I'll find them anyway.
絶対に突き止めてやる
Kunosato decided to search the whole room once more. All the paperwork inside the messy desk used the name Haidariko. It was nothing but receipts and utility bills. But there was no sign of a bill for her phone or internet service. She had neither, it seemed. There's no sign of her even having a landline phone.
確かに
That's right.
電話
There
がど
isn't
こ
a
にもな
phone
いな
anywhere. She looked around the room and found the phone jack, but it was covered in dust and showed no signs of having ever been used. The only other things she found among the papers were receipts for food and drink from a convenience store. Minamisawa Senri had never cooked. Convenience store food was all she ate.
これじゃあ食
She
費も
must have
バカ
spent
に
a
なら
lot
な
of
かった
money
ろ
on food, I bet. How had she paid for it all? The police were trying their hardest to find out, but there was no sign of a bank book or credit card in the room, and they didn't know anything about her bank account either.
金の出所は
The committee
委
wasn't
員会じ
paying
ゃないの
her.
か
If I could at least find her bank
せめ
account,
て
I
口座
could
番号
start
だけ
trying
で
to
も分かれ
trace
ば
it.
尻尾がつかめるもの
南沢千里
Minamisawa
は
Senri had
23
been
日の深夜から
blah, blah.
24日の
Minamisawa
未明に
Senri
かけ
was
て
seen by Miyashiro
宮
and
代
his
君た
friends
ちの
between
前
the
に
9th of the
姿を現して
23rd
る
and the early morning of the 24th.
そして
And it was the night of
死
the
亡死体となって
24th that
発
she
見
was
された
found
の
dead.
はその
Which
24
means
日
she
の夜だ
died sometime after her last
ということは
sighting.
彼女が死んだのはその間ということになる
Kunosato had been so lost in thought that she hadn't even realized Shinjo was talking to her.
は
Huh? What's
Nanda?
that?
南沢
I'm
千里
saying
が
that
最
there
後
were
に目
20
撃さ
hours
れて
between
か
the
ら
last
死体
time
が発見さ
Minamisawa
れるま
Senri
で
was
に
seen and
20
when
時
her
間ほ
body
どある
was
って話だ
found.
よ
それだけあれば
That's
十分だ
plenty
ろ
of time.
ところが
But we have no
そ
clue
の
about
20
what
時間
happened
の
during
間に
those
何
20
が起こっ
hours.
たのか
Or even what Minamiyasawa Senri was
そも
doing
そも
during
南
that
沢千里が
time.
何をしていたのか足取りが全くつかめないんだ。
Well, obviously for some portion of it, she was busy dying, so you know.
彼女は
She didn't even
この
come
マン
back
ショ
to
ンに
her
すら戻っ
condo.
てきていないんだよ。
何
What? Kinosato's expression changed for the first time.
24日の防
She
犯
doesn't
カ
show
メ
up
ラ
on
に
the
映ってない
security
んだ。
footage recorded on the
一度も。
24th. That's nice.
そんなバカな
That's
話がある
impossible.
か
Then how did she wind up
じ
dead
ゃ
in
あ
this
どうやって
room?
ここで死んだんだ
だからこう
That's
し
the
て
big
途
question.
方に暮れてるんじゃないか。
映像をチ
The
ェック
guy
し
who
たや
checked
つ
the
の見落とし
footage
だ
must
ろ
have missed it.
俺も
I
確認し
checked
た
it
よ。
myself. There
見
was
落
no
としはない。
mistake. Shinjo closed his eyes and rubbed them. He caused himself a good bit of eye strain.
今映
I'm
像を
having
確
someone
認
else
させ
check
て
the
る
video
が
now.
どう
But I
い
have no
うこと
idea
か
what
さっ
this
ぱりだ。
means. I mean, is there footage of her leaving her apartment on the 23rd?
わかった
Fine. I'll think about
少
it.
し考えてみよう
助かる。
Thanks. He covered his face with his left hand, exhausted.
それも含めて
I'm going to look at this room a little more
私
and
は
see
もう
if I
少し
can't
この
find
部屋
that
を
out
調査させ
too.
てもらう
Can you find out for me when
あんたは
Minamisawa Senri had
南沢
just
千里が
had the back?
い
Yeah.
つどうやってハ
Can
イ
you
ダリ
find
カ
out
と
for
いう
me
偽
when
の身元を手に
Minamisawa
入れた
Senri
のか
began using the
情
alias
報を入手してくれ
Haidabiko?
ないかもしかす
The
ると
committee might be involved in that too.
それにも委員会が絡んでいるかもしれない
ああ、
Yeah,
それ
I'm
は
on
もうや
it.
ってる。
あと
Oh, and when are the
この
police
件の
going
警察
public
発表
with
はいつに
this?
なる予定だ
まだ決まって
It
ない。
hasn't been
いろい
decided.
ろ揉めてる
There's
ら
some
しい。
arguing going on about that.
ニュースにな
I
れ
think
ば
that if it made the
もっと
news,
南
we
沢
might
千
learn
里
more
の情
about
報が集まっ
Minamisawa
てくると思うん
Senri.
だがな
気持ちは
I
わか
know
る
how you
が、
feel,
そう
but
焦
don't
る
be
な
in
よ。
such a hurry. You know,
わかる
just what do you know about me?
私の何がわかるというんだ
She glared daggers at him, but Shinjo shrugged and said nothing.
さて
Anyway,
と、
I'm off to go
ちょっ
get a
と
bite
飯で
to
も食っ
eat.
てくる。
What about you?
君はどうする？
いらない
I'm not hungry.
勝手にしろ
Go.
じゃ、
Alright,
そ
I
うさ
will.
せてもらう。
Shinjo left without trying to invite her a second time. But as he opened the door, he paused as if he'd remembered something.
どれだけ調
You
べて
can
く
look
れ
as
ても
much as
構
you
わないが、
want, but the building's
マンショ
manager
ン
is
の管理人
suspicious
が
of
君
you.
を疑って
He's not convinced you're really
本
with 当
当
the
に警察の
police.
関係者かって
If he calls the local
所
cops,
轄に
there'll
問
be
い合わせで
trouble.
もされたら
So
厄介
be
だから
careful.
気をつけろよ。
一応
I'll keep that in mind, I
気には留め
guess.
ておく
一応じ
I
ゃ困
guess isn't
る。
good enough.
怒られるのは
I'm
俺
the
だ。
one that will be getting mad at. And then he laughed, but there was no humor in his voice. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It was after school in the club room, and the twilight streamed in through the open windows. Kazuki was in the corner, playing ESO2 and making weird noises. Her battle didn't seem to be going well, and she was making oddly sexy noises. I hoped no one outside the room got the wrong idea. Have fun watching Wicked again with your mother, Peachy. I heard a small knock on the door.
じ
Stare.
お前もか。
Wait, it's
こ
you?
そこそ覗いて
Don't
ないで
peek,
さっ
just
さと
come
入ってこいって
inside.
大丈
Is
夫
it okay?
お邪魔じゃ
I'm
な
not
い
interrupting.
だから何がお邪
Interrupting
魔なんだよ。
what?
廊下の向こ
You
う
can
まで
hear
聞こえてるよ
Hana-chan all the way
花ちゃ
down
ん
the hall.
今忙
She
しい
says
から
she's
話しか
busy,
け
so
るなっ
don't
てさ
talk to her now.
たくすごい
Wow,
ね
Taku. If they gave out
花ちゃん検定があれば
certifications for
すぐに
understanding
一級とか
Hana-chan,
取れる
you
ね
get one easily.
そんな
I
の
don't
いらん
want one.
私の
She's
ことなん
saying,
てどうでもいいのね
so,
って
what,
怒
you
っ
don't
て
care
るさ
about me at all?
違
No,
う
that's...
私
Stop
のこと
talking
勝
about
手
me
に話題
behind
に
my
すんな
back.
だ
Wow, amazing. Sarika smiled and clapped. She seemed really happy for some reason.
あれ
Huh?
今日
Where's
なんちゃん
Nanchan
は
today?
生徒会
Student council.
しばらく
She
休ん
says
で
she
たから
has a
仕
lot
事
of
が
work
溜ま
to
ってる
do
らし
because
い
she was out for a while.
川原のやつが来
Kawahara
て
came and
今日は
said we
新
couldn't
聞部に
have
は
her
渡さない
today.
とさ
お
Oh,
これ
so
は
it's
争奪
war.
戦だね
Okay, Taku, let's go steal her back.
のんちゃんを奪いに行こ
What?
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
fine. I didn't want any more trouble with the student council. Kawahara-kun more specifically.
ううわ
Wow, you're back to the old loser Taku. You were so cool for a while too. Huh?
なんだ
What are you talking about?
だって
Pacing off with that scary psychic, sneaking into hospital
病
basements?
院の地下へ
You were
潜
really
入した
cool when
り
you were following the case, you know?
事件を追ってるタクはかっこよかったよ
そうか
Was I? Kurisu got super mad at me and told me not to go chasing after danger, though. But now, that all seemed like the distant past. Even though it hadn't been a week since then.
本当に
And the case was
事件
really
は
over,
終わったんだ
right? That night, the 23rd. When there had been no murder, the rest of the world had started to declare that the return of the new gen madness was over. But I still hadn't believed them. And I thought that it wasn't over at all. But the next day, I had heard shocking news from Shinjo-san. Minamisawa Senri, the woman who'd threatened our lives, was found burnt to death in her condo. What? Senri
リカ
was...
うん
Yeah,
僕も
Arimura
今
and
の
I
映像を
both
確
saw
認し
the
た
video.
間違いない
There's no doubt about it. I spent a long time thinking that night. But in the end, I had no choice but to tell Kurisu about her death. When I told her, her eyes went wide, and then she looked down, silently. Her long hair hid her face, and I couldn't see her expression.
あの
I
なんて
don't
言
know
って
what
いい
to
かわからな
say,
いけど
but
その
これで
now. Huh?
これで終わ
Now
った
it's
のね
over, right?
もうタクル
The
や
person
ユ
who
イを
was
襲う
after
よう
you
な
and
犯
you
人
is
は
gone,
いなくなったの
right?
ね
だと思う
And that's what
新
Shinjo-san
庄さんは
thinks.
そう
I see. I'm so glad. She raised her head. Her eyes were a little wet, but she was quietly smiling. And the police still hadn't made any announcement about a suspect in the killings being burnt to death. Not only was Minamisawa Senri a minor, but she may have been driven to the crime by Chaos Child Syndrome, the form of PTSD experienced by young survivors of the Shibuya earthquake. Shinjo-san had said it was Shinjo-san had said it was an extremely delicate matter. And because the circumstances of her death were so strange, the forensics people were getting nowhere. There was an internal war over how the police should release the information.
あと
Also,
これは邪
I
推かも
could
し
be
れない
wrong
けど
about this, but it seemed to me that the fact that she was a human test subject to age Tokyo General Hospital might have played a role too. If she became famous, the media and internet might start looking into her past. And they might find out about the human experiments. It would make sense if someone who wanted to avoid that was putting pressure on the police.
おい
Hey, Miyashiro.
Eh?
Huh? Oh, sorry. What's up?
あれどうする
What are we doing with that? Ida pointed to the map on the wall.
片付けるか
Should we put it away?
もう使
We
わ
might
ない
not
かも
need
し
it
れないし
anymore. I stood in front of it again. The map was crammed with all the information we'd gathered so far. It all looked faded, like something had happened a long time ago. Oh,
ああ、そうか。
I found 2 photographs on the map that I'd completely forgotten about. On the 6th and 7th incidents of the New Generation Madness, Finger Food and Dokkyun Puzzle. The notes next to them read October 28th and November 4th.
今日って
Today's the
28日なんだよ
28th,
な。
right?
そうだ
Yeah. Ida nodded. He seemed to know what I meant. Then I saw another note I'd stuck up there on my own handwriting. It was one I'd been thinking about ever since I was told about Minamisawa Senri's death. Serial killer equals multiple people, including pyrokinetic.
事件は終わったんだろうか。
And I wonder if the case is really over.
終わったって
And
言って
that's
る
what
ぜ
everyone's been
みんな
saying.
それにさ
Besides, if there was another killer, they would have taken Minamisawa Senri's place and killed someone on the
南沢千里に代わっ
23rd.
てそいつが事件を起こしたはずだろ
ああ、
Yeah,
なるほど。
that's true.
けど
But nothing
実際は
happened,
何も
which
起こらな
means
か
we
った
can rule out this
ことは
possibility.
この可能性は消えたってことじゃないのかな
Nito took the note off the map.
もうやめようぜ
So let's just give up on the case
なん
already.
つうかさ
Any more would only hurt the vice
副部長
president
が
even
辛いと思うんだ
further.
俺
Oh.
うん
Yeah.
そうだね
Shin-chan might be
し
right.
んちゃんの言う通りかも
な
Okay,
そっか。
got it. I remember Kurusu's sad eyes when I told her about Minamisawa Senri's death.
わかった。
Alright,
こいつの
we
役
can
目
be
は
done
こ
with
こで
this
終わり
then.
にしよう。
They're gonna have to put it back up tomorrow, I just know it. I slowly removed the map.
けど
But now the
なん
wall
か
seems kinda
いき
plain.
なり
doesn't
風がすっ
it?
きりしちゃったね
ずっとここにあ
It's
った
been
か
here
ら
for
な。
so long, yeah.
ね
Right.
また
Let's
何
just
か
find
事
some
件
other
を
case,
探そう
Taku.
よ
One that'll make everyone's
み
jaws
んなを
drop.
あっと驚かせるような事件
ああ、
Yeah.
そのた
That's
め
why
に
we
作っ
formed
た
the
新聞部だ
newspaper
もんな。
club. Yeah. Sarika smiled again, the same way she always did. Anita finally started to grin too.
今度は
And
副部
let's
長
pick
に
one that
怒
won't
られ
piss
ない
off the
程度の
vice
事件に
president
しと
this
こうぜ
time.
わかってるよ。
I know. I've
今
learned
回
my
の件
lesson
で
from
さすが
this
にこれ
one.
だ。
Even Kazuki turned away from her game and gave me an in agreement. That night, I finally went back to the RV. Yuba had finally calmed down and stopped being afraid at night. If Dad, Kurisu and Yuto were there, she'd probably be fine. Her old friend Yamazoe was there too.
やっぱりここは落
This
ち着く
place
な
really does calm me down. I sat in the chair and booted up my PC for the first time in a long while. My inbox is overflowing with spam. It was strange. It always used to annoy me, but now it felt like proof that I'd returned to my old life.
はい、ご苦
Okay.
労さん。
Thanks, guys. And of course, I deleted them all immediately, but they didn't piss me off like they used to.
さて、
Now then. Come to think of it, I've forgotten because of everything that happened, but Gensan had just sold me the latest edition of Cool Cat Press, and I hadn't touched it at all. I took it out from its hiding spot under my desk and started to flip through the pages. It felt like it had been forever since I'd done that too. How much can you get away with in your first month with a girl? French kissing? Or is deep kissing also okay? Hey, oh no, wait, what do you think? I almost fell out of my chair. Sarika was standing behind me, looking over my shoulder. I think it doesn't really matter what month it is, you know? Oh, forget that. When and how did you get in here? Your door wasn't locked. Crap. I've been so busy reading that I hadn't noticed Sarika. That doesn't mean you could just waltz right in. At least knock first. Oh, but I didn't think you'd like it if I knocked. I thought it might scare you. She's right. If I heard knocking now, it might be bad for my heart. She might seem like an airhead, but the nice thing about Sarika is that you can always count on her to remember things like that. Listen, okay? I know I've said this before, but Gensan forces me to buy every issue of this magazine. Don't forget that. I put my Cool Cat Press back under the desk in a very cool manner. Okay, got it. I'll keep it a secret from Non-chan. Wait, that's not what I just said. So, what about you, Saku? What about me? How much can you get away with when it comes to kissing? I don't know. I never kissed a girl. She looks so mad about it. Sarika suddenly pressed her lips unhappily. Taku, you forgot? Ah, I understand now. Forgot what? You had it with me. Your, well, first kiss. I don't think I could replicate the way he said what, but I think you guys get the idea with the nani. I literally leaped out of my chair. I kissed Sarika? When? Where? How? Why? According to Minamikata Kenji Sensei's column in Cool Cat Press, a girl's first kiss was more important to her than losing her virginity. And that's why a guy who didn't remember his first kiss was a terrible man, he'd said. I was sweating, unable to remember a thing, but Sarika just laughed. Well, I forgive you. It was when we were in preschool. Wait, was that long ago? Don't scare me like that. I mean, kisses in preschool don't count. Probably. But when I told her that, Sarika looked upset again. Anyway, what are you doing here? I thought you went home. Yeah, but it got a little lonely, so I came to see you. That's really cute. Huh? You know, we've been together all the time lately, right? Of course, I didn't like it when that scaring woman was after us, but we all worked together and overcame it, you know? If Non-chan heard me say this, she'd get mad, so keep it a secret, but I was pretty excited. I see. What about you? Me? I don't know. I'm not sure.
わからないな。
ふーん
And she'd suddenly leaned over, right on top of me, and reached a hand toward my computer. The sensation of her body on my back was soft and warm. I didn't know how to react whenever she did something like this. Hey, you're heavy. Get off. I'm not heavy. You're so rude. Her white fingers gripped the mouse, and she started to move it around. I know I said this in the club room, but I want a new case to research. Oh, what about this? Sarika opened a site for explorers of abandoned buildings, a popular genre. Most of the articles were about people going into abandoned villages, factories, and mines. Bankrupt, empty amusement parks and department stores were also popular. They would write essays and upload photos. Some sites would also write about bloody urban legends involving the abandoned buildings, or upload photographs with quote-unquote ghosts in them. This stuff's all been done. Also, going into abandoned buildings is illegal. I don't think we could do it as a school club. Huh? That sucks. Sarika moved away from me and then laid down on the RV's bed. And then she yawned, loudly. Hey, don't sleep there. I turned around, but her eyelids were already closed. That was fast. I quickly stood up and shook her shoulders. Hey, if you're sleepy, then go home and sleep. Huh? I'll just stay over tonight. I'll be fine. What are you talking about? Where am I supposed to sleep? It's okay. I'm tiny, so we can sleep together. We can't. Just as I grabbed her by the arm and tried to lift her up. Huh? My phone started to vibrate in my backpack. It kept going, so it probably wasn't an email or a text, but a phone call. I had no choice but to leave Sarika on the bed while I went to answer it. I looked at the screen and saw that the call was from Ito. Now what? Did he find some new case for us? I answered the phone. Hello, what's up, Ito? Have you checked that channel recently? His voice was tense and anxious. Channel? Just check it. Any of the new gen threads will do. What's going on? And I walked over to my PC, confused, and opened that channel. I decided to start by opening the news board. There were quite a few threads about the original and current New Gen Madness incidents. Huh? I couldn't believe my eyes. The page is filled with the names Minamisawa Senri and Haida Hiriko. And I could see the words burnt to death here and there too. Did the police go public with her name? No. As you'll see when you read the threads, it seems this information was leaked. It leaked. Haida Riko, killer behind the Return of the New Generation attack goes up in flames. Suicide? Murder? On the afternoon of 10/24, a temp worker named Haida Riko, 18, was found burnt to death inside her condo in Shibuya Ward. It was reported that she burnt herself to death in a suicide after having trouble at work, but sources close to the investigation say that she was a suspect in the Return of the New Generation Madness case. The police are considering the possibility that Haida Riko was a false name and are trying to determine her real identity. However, her body was badly damaged and the investigation is proceeding slowly. Sauce. Link. Previous thread. Haida Riko, killer behind the Return of the New Generation attacks go up in flames. Suicide? Murder? Link. So Haida Riko's a fake name? We're sure the killer's Minamisawa Senri? Somebody let me know. The guys on /crazygirls are starting to track her down. By the way, this is security camera footage of what we think is Minamisawa Senri. Link, and then also the photo embed of the photo we've seen. I opened up a thread and saw that yes, the police were still remaining silent. But there was the picture Arimura and I had seen of her on the security camera, and a photo of her from when she was a student. I scrolled down past those, but she's got buddies. Of course, the girl couldn't do this on her own. It sounds like she came from a religious orphanage. The people in the photo in 248 were her friends there. Seems like they're all doing this together. / Crazy Girls is talking about the orphanage 252 mentioned. They're making calls already. Way to go, / Crazy Girls lol. Call here, Alba Clinic, phone number. That girl in the photo with Senri is totally my type. A cute girl like that's a killer? 254 reply. If nothing else, it looks like she was helping Minamisawa hide. Even if she didn't kill anyone herself, that's still a betting. And there was a ton of weird information on Minamisawa Senri, with no source even given. Some of it said...
Oi, nanda yo kore?
What the hell is this?
見つけたか
Did you find the posts? Damn wrong siders. They're just posting crap without even bothering to check the facts. I was angry because I saw Kurisu and Kawahara-kun's names mixed in with information on Minamisawa Senri. The first idiot who posted was probably an old classmate of theirs. The three of them were friends, and they were always together. That information had nothing to do with the case. What were they thinking? And the irresponsible comments that came after were even worse. Another thread said that Minamisawa had once lived in Alba dorm, and that Kurisu visited her every day in her condo. This was insane. There were even a few morons saying that Kurisu was an accomplice to the murders because she'd helped Minamisawa Senri stay hidden, and that the police were coming to arrest her. That was probably why her phone number had shown up on the telephone harassment site. Damn it all. When I saw that Kurisu's graduation photo was uploaded along with Senri's, I slammed my fist down onto the desk. The case is finally over, so why is this happening? Taku learns that channers are fuckheads arc. So true. What's going on, Taku? Sarika jumped up when she heard me yell. I'm picking up Ito. I'm going to call Kurisu. Wait, that won't work. I already tried. She turned off her phone. I hit my computer's power button and quickly headed for the door. Fine. I'll just go to Alba dorm myself. Yeah, I'm on my way there too. See you there. Ito hung up as well. Oh no, sorry, but I need you to stay here. What? No, something happened with Nonchan, right? Take me too. Sarika followed after me as I ran out the door. I didn't have a choice, so the two of us ran toward Alba dorm. Did you at least lock the door behind yourselves? No? Okay. There were already several strange fans parked outside the dorm when we got there. Some people were already wandering around outside with video cameras. It's the mainstream media. They're already here? Screw them. As I got close to Alba dorm, I could feel several sets of eyes upon me. Hey, can I talk to you? Do you two live here? Several men who appeared to be reporters just started to surround us. I'm sorry, what? I said, do you live here? No, please let us through. Then are you a friend? Do you know a girl named Kurisu Nono? No. I decided to lie. If I told them I knew Kurisu, I figured I wouldn't be able to take another step. So true. Then does the name Minamisawa Senri mean anything to you? Did you see it on the internet? She's supposedly a serial killer. No, I really don't know anything. We just came to Alba Clinic to get some medicine. Then I grabbed Terika's hand and started to run. I shook off the hands that tried to grab for me and rang in the bell for Alba Clinic, not Alba dorm. I could hear several frustrated noises behind me. Maybe it was just because the police hadn't made their announcement yet, but even the media didn't seem to want to step on the clinic's property. It would probably be considered trespassing. Probably not think it would. I soon heard someone on the other side of the door.
僕だよ。
It's me.
お前もいる。
Noe's here too. I whispered that and the door opened. I slid inside and the door was quickly closed again.
よ、
Hey,
おかえり。
welcome back. Dad was standing in the front lobby, chuckling.
こんばんは、佐久
Good
間
evening,
先
Dr. Sakuma.
生。なんか
It seems
大
like
変で
things
す
are
ね。
getting really rough.
まあな、
Yeah, this is
こ
the
んな
first
の
from
は
me,
初めて
so
だから、
I'm not sure
ど
what
うし
to
ていい
do.
のやら。
Dad scratched the back of his head.
クルスはどう
How's
して
Kurisu doing?
意外と
I'd
言っ
feel
ちゃか
bad
わい
if I
そうだ
said that I
が、
found this surprising,
割と
but
塞ぎ
she's
込んで
pretty
る。
depressed.
あいつにして
Let's hear it for
は
her.
珍しい。
I figured that Kurisu was like any other girl. She was either scared or depressed after what happened. But it hurt to hear that a strong-willed girl like her was feeling down.
早く行ってやれ。
Go see her.
あ
And
くら
probably
たちの
cheer her
顔を
up
見
a
れ
bit.
ば、少しは元気になるだろ
Of course.
はい。
Alright. Tsurika and I ran up the stairs to the dorm. I could see Kurisu sitting at the dining table, with her head drooping down. And past her, hiding in the kitchen, were Yui and Yuto, looking very worried. There was a cold cup of English breakfast tea on the table, and Yamazoe was pacing around, wondering if she should make a new one.
ただいま。
I'm back.
こんばんは。
Hello. They all looked relieved to see us.
タクルに
Big bro, Serika-san, I'm glad you came.
来てくれて。
ああ、
Yeah. I moved to Yui a little, and then tried to talk to Kurisu.
大丈夫か、クル
You
ス。
okay, Kurisu? Kurisu slowly looked up, as if she'd only just now realized we were here. Her tone made it obvious that she was trying to hide her shock.
心配してきて
Did
く
you
れ
rush
たの
over here because you were worried
Arigato.
about me? Thank you.
ああ、
Yeah,
Ito
Ito says is
Kuruta-san.
on his way too.
そう
I see.
そんなところ
Hey,
に
oh,
立って
why
な
are
い
you
で
still standing
座
up?
ったら
Take a seat.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
そうだな。
you're right.
うん
Yeah. Serika and I sat across from her. Yamazoe quickly brought us some tea.
クルスさん
Kurisu-san,
お茶
shall I make you
新し
some
く
new
しましょう
tea?
か
No, I'm
いいわ
fine.
ありがとう
Thanks. Kurisu smiled and politely refused her timid offer. Yamazoe looked a little sad to hear that. Oh,
なあ、クルス。
hey, Kurisu. Yeah.
あんまり気にす
Don't
んな
let
よ
it get to you too much, okay?
アットチャンネル
Everyone
な
on
んて
that channel
賢い
has
奴
the
らばっかり
attention
だ。
span of a
人
3-year-old.
の噂も
I bet they'll all
75
forget
日とか
about
言うけ
this
ど
in a month.
75日も持たない。多分1ヶ月だから。
So, you'll just have to put up with this for a short while.
うん
No,
私
that's
の
not
こと
what
はいいの
bothers me.
何を
I
言わ
don't
れて
care
も
what they say about
別
me.
に構わないわでも
I can't let them get away with doing this to the people I care
大
about.
切な家に迷
It's
惑が
Alba
かかる
Dorn.
のが許せない
Her voice was shaking with sorrow. Yu and Yuta ran out from the kitchen and grabbed onto her from both sides.
ののね
It's fine, big sis. I'm fine. I promise.
僕も
I'm
大
fine
丈夫だか
too.
らゆい
Yui,
ゆうちゃ
Yuta.
んでも
But if they
学校
bully
でい
you
じめ
at
られたりし
school,
たらそんなの気
that
にな
won't
らない
bother
よ
me.
っていうか
And if
ユウを
anyone
いじめ
tries
る
to
ような
bully
奴
you,
がいたら
they'll have to
私
deal
が
with
た
me.
だじゃおかないから
Kurisu's eyes were wet with tears. I'm sorry.
ごめん
I'm
ね
so sorry.
どうしての
Why
の
are
姉
you
が謝るの
apologizing?
何も悪い
You
こと
didn't
して
do
ないの
anything
に
wrong.
そうだよ
She's
謝
right.
ること
You
な
don't
い
have to
よ
apologize
のん
for...
ちゃん
You don't have anything to apologize for, Non-chan. I can read. Everybody rushed to defend her. Yet all she did was stare at the ground with a worried expression, like she was overcome by sorrow. Seeing Kurisu like that filled me with an indescribable wrath. Where the hell had this information leaked from? Why would information come out that made her look like an accomplice just because she was an old friend of a serial killer? Didn't make sense. It was crazy.
Huh?
And then I realized that something was wrong. I'd been so shocked by what had happened that I hadn't had time to think about it, but
なんか
this
おかしい
doesn't make sense at all. That channel was always looking for a new target to make a fuss over, and Minami-sawa's Senri fit the bill perfectly. But had there really been enough time for them to start focusing on Kurisu and Alba Dorm? Focusing on, rather. Even for a channel, that was weird.
まるで誰かが
It's like
そう
someone
仕掛
set
けてる
this
ような
up. As soon as I thought of that, I froze. Someone set this up? Are they after Kurisu? Or maybe Alba Dorm?
それって
But
どういうこと
why? Who would do that and for what reason? What could they gain by going after Kurisu or Alba Dorm?
くそ
Ah, damn it.
全然わ
It
からない
doesn't make any sense. I took the phone out of my pocket and dialed a number.
どこどうしたの
What's wrong? Everyone looked at me, surprised. I motioned for them to be quiet and stood up. I needed to move somewhere I wouldn't be overheard to avoid worrying Kurisu more. I hurried to my own room and then focused on the sound of the ringing phone.
早く出て
Come on, pick up. Pick up. After a long time, there was finally an answer.
ああ、宮
Oh,
代君
Miyashiro-kun.
ちょうどよ
Good.
かった
I was just
今
about to
電話
call.
しようと
Jijo-san seemed to be in just as much of a hurry as I was. But I cut him off and screamed at him.
どうしておか
What's
しな
with these
情報が漏れてるんです
ridiculous leaks?
ネットの件か
Is this about what's on the internet?
今
The Cyber Crimes
サイバー
Division
対
is
策課が調べてる
investigating it.
もう
So
少し
just
待っ
hang
て
in
くれ
there a little longer.
それより
More importantly,
警察から
The
漏
police
洩したん
didn't
じゃ
leak
ないですか
それ
that's
も
what we were
含め
trying
て
to find
今
out.
調査中だ
Jijo-san sounded a little upset. He probably didn't want to think that any of his colleagues had leaked important information.
それより
More importantly,
君は
where
今
are
どこにい
you?
る
青葉寮です
Alba
けど
Dorm. Why?
ちょうどよかった
Good. Listen to me very
よく
carefully.
聞け
Your
これ
lives
は
are in
君たちの
danger.
命に関わる重大な話だ
え
Huh? What the hell is he talking about?
俺も君たち
All
も
of us have made a
大
terrible
変な
mistake.
勘違いをしていたんだ
Ironically, the leak on the
皮肉な
internet
話
is
だ
what
が
cleared it up.
ネットに情報が漏れたおかげで判明した
A mistake?
君や有村さんを
The
襲った
pyrokinetic that
パイロ
attacked
キ
you
ネ
and
シスト
Arimude-san
あれは南沢
wasn't
千里じゃなかった
Minami-sawa Senri.
Huh?
Huh? My eyes went wide as I stood there in shock. My grip on the phone tightened.
南沢
It
千里
wasn't
じゃ
Minami-sawa
なかった
Senri.
あ
That's right.
じゃあ誰なんで
Then
す
who
か
was it?
ハイダリコだ
Haida Riko.
は
Huh?
それって
Wasn't that
偽
just
名
an
じゃん
alias?
そう
Yes.
俺た
That's
ちは
what we
ハイダリコ
thought.
というのが偽
That
名
the
で
Haida
偽
Riko
の身元だ
identity
とば
was
かり思って
false
いた
and being used as an alias.
でも
But we
ネ
found
ット上
several
に彼
comments
女を
online
実 際
from
に
people
知ってい
saying
る
that
と
they
いう情
actually
報が
knew
いくつ
her.
も書き込まれているのを見つけたんだ最初はた
At
だの
first
デ
we
マだ
thought
と
they
思っ
were
たんだが
fake,
一
but
応
we
そ
used
の
the
書き込
comments
み
to
を
track
もと
down
に
the place
彼
where
女
she
の故郷と言われ
supposedly
る場
grew
所を
up
地
and
元
had the
警
local
察に払
police
ってもら
check
っ
it
た
out.
その結
And we
果
discovered the Haida
ハイダ
Riko
リコの
really
実
did
在が確
exist.
認された
そ
No way.
マンションで見
The
つかった
corpse's
焼死
teeth
体の
and their
歯の
signs
治
of
療痕
treatment
も
were a perfect
地
match
元の
with
歯
your
科医
local
の記録と
dentist
完
records
全に
too.
一致した
There's no doubt
間
about
違い
it.
ない
The pyrokinetic that we thought was Minamisawa Senri was actually Haida Riko, a completely different person. But wait a second. I moved the phone away from my ear so I could think for a second. I found you. That woman wasn't Minamisawa Senri? Then did the real Minamisawa die in the Shibuya earthquake after all, just like Kurisu said? So, then why did she come after us? I've never known any woman named Haida Riko. I never met her or even heard the name before the Return of the New Gen madness began. I can't think of any reason why she'd come after me. What the hell was she doing with Minami Senri's ID card then? I couldn't think straight. My mind just kept coming up with new questions. Hello? Miyashiro-kun, are you still there? Yes. I put the phone back to my ear when I heard the panic in his voice. We just got the forensics results back on Haida Riko's death. She died sometime between the early morning and afternoon on October 23rd. Had a feeling, because it would be weirder if it wasn't. Wait, the 23rd? That's right. She was already dead by that time. But I was attacked at the cafe on the night of the 23rd. Kunosato-san has a theory that it wasn't Haida Riko herself who attacked you. It was probably another psychic, who just showed you a delusion of her. It's the only explanation that makes sense. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Another psychic? I felt a cold, sticky sweat forming on my forehead. Another psychic. I suspected it many times, but in the end, I discarded the possibility. And that's why I thought this was all over. Haida Riko's head was badly damaged, so it took time to find out, but her brain shows the same signs of swelling as the other victims. She was probably mind-controlled into securing herself with that reborn, setting herself on fire. This absurd MO matches the other murders too. And then the real culprit killed Haida Riko, who was a psychic, on the 23rd. Yes, right on schedule. Which means... I was too scared to say what came next. But Shinja-san said it for me. The Return of the New Gen madness didn't end the 23rd. The murders aren't over at all. And today is October 28th. But the murders aren't over. Be careful, Miyashiro-kun. One of you is probably their next target. I felt like every hair on my body was standing up on end. I imagined a hand reaching out from somewhere and pulling a cold knife up against my throat. I couldn't shake the delusion for the life of me. Shinjo-san, what do we do? Ironically, I think the press being out their front doors makes them a little more secure, to be honest. But, shrugs. Just make sure you're not alone. One of my men is heading to Awa Dorm right now. I'm going to Arimura-san's place to pick her up. Then I'll head to where you are. Understood? Yeah, thank you. I hung up, jammed the phone into my pocket, and ran out of the room. My legs were shaking, and I almost fell over several times. And when I got to the dining room, Kurisu and Serika were folding everyone's laundry. If I don't keep myself occupied, I just start thinking bad things. Kurisu forced herself to smile as she looked at me. But she must have seen the look on my face because her smile faded instantly. What's wrong? Taku? Where are Yui and the others? I couldn't see Yui, Yuta, or Yamazoe.
きちゃんと一緒
They're
に
helping Dr.
佐久間
Sakama.
先生のお
The
手伝
clinic's
い。
closing for today,
今日は
so they
もう
went
院を
downstairs
閉
to
めるんで
clean.
お掃除をしに下へ行ったよ。
そうか。
I see. Dad had probably figured that with all the media outside, he wouldn't get any work done today, so he must have decided to close up early. I looked out the curtain and saw that the street was filled with vans. None of them showed any sign of leaving. But whether this was fair or not, even though I'd hated them a moment ago, I now felt glad that they were there. With this many people around, no matter who they were, the killer wouldn't be able to get to us easily. I went to close the curtain and saw that there was some kind of commotion going on outside. The window glass was too thick for me to hear, but something must have happened while I was on the phone.
尾上、
No, no, wait. Take care of
クリスのこと頼む。
Kurisu.
何
But
があっ
only
て
for
も
a sight
絶
for a
対にそばを
second,
離
no
れないで
matter
やってく
what.
れ。絶対にだぞ。
Huh? Oh, okay.
ねえ、タクル。
Takeru,
何
if
かあ
something
ったのなら
happened,
教
tell
え
me.
て。
後でちゃんと
I
話
will
す
in
か
a bit.
ら。
I'm
と
counting
にか
on
く
you.
任せた
By
ぞ、
the
尾
way.
上。
オッケー。
These two weren't psychics, so they were probably safe. But it was best to be sure. I ran down the stairs to the clinic. I could see Yamazoe and Yuto cleaning up the equipment in the examination room.
父さんとユイは
Where are Dad and Yui?
父さん、
Dad's
外
outside
でマスコ
fighting
ミ
with
の
the
人と
media.
喧嘩してる。
喧嘩？
Fighting?
はい。
Yes.
委員の
Someone
窓
was
か
trying
ら
to take
中
photos
を
through
隠
one
し
of the
撮りしよう
clinic's
とした人
windows.
がいたんです。
So Dr. Sakama
それ
got
で
mad
佐
and
久
went
間先生が
outside.
怒って外へ。
I listened carefully, and sure enough, I could hear Dad arguing with what sounded like a reporter.
ユイも父さん
Is
と
Yui
一緒
with
なの
Dad?
え？
Huh?
お姉ちゃん？
Sis? Yudo and Yamazoe looked confused.
お姉ちゃんならさっ
She
き
just
タ
went to
クル
find
兄ちゃん
you.
のところへ行ったでしょ？
何？
What? Yui went to find me?
いや、来てないぞ
But。I didn't see her. What? From both of them. But
確
I
か
saw
に
her
寮へ
go
上がって
upstairs
い
to
き
the
ました。
dorm.
そんなバカな。
That's impossible. I turned around and ran back up the stairs to the dorm.
ユイ
Yui!
どこ
Where
だ
are
ユ
you,
イ
Yui? But I couldn't find her, no matter where I looked. She wasn't in her room, the bath, or the toilet. I looked everywhere. After I looked everywhere I could, I finally decided to check the dorm's emergency exit, and shivered as I saw that the inside latch was undone.
いつも
It's always
鍵が
locked.
かかってるはずなのに。
Did she go outside? Why? I could feel my heart pounding with terror as I ran back into the clinic.
やっぱ
I
り
knew it.
どこにもい
She's
な
not
い。
here.
そんなはずない
That
よ。
can't be.
さっき伊藤さん
Ida-san
が
just
来て。
came.
伊藤？
Ito?
はい。
Yes.
それでユイさん
And
は
she
伊藤
went
さんと
upstairs
上
with
へ行ったん
Ida-san
で
to
す。
find you.
伊藤と一緒
She
なんだ。
was with Ito, right?
ユイ一人じゃなく
She
て。
wasn't alone? Yes.
そうか
I。see. I breathed a small sigh of relief. If it was just Yui, she might have been in danger. But if she wasn't alone, it wouldn't be as easy for someone to attack her.
とにかく、
Anyway,
伊藤に
I'll
電話して
call
みる。
him. As I took out my phone, Serika and Kurisu came into the room. They were worried. They looked even more worried when I told them that Yui and Ito had vanished.
ユイと
You're
伊
saying
藤
the
君
two
が
of them are together?
どこ行っちゃっ
Where
たん
did
だ
they
ろう。
go?
もしもし。
Hello,
伊藤
Ito?
か？
Hmm? Oh, Miyashiro.
お前どこにい
Where
る
are
んだ？
you?
どこって
Just heading
コンビ
back
ニ
from the
から帰る
convenience
ところだ
store.
よ
We did some
買い出しして
shopping.
きたんだ
Ito's voice was the same as ever, and I want to hit him.
ユイは
Where's Yui?
一緒なの
Is
か？
she with you?
そばに
Just
い
right
る
next
け
to
ど
me.
そう
I
か。
see. I felt relieved, but screamed into the phone anyway.
お前
If
は
you're going to the store, then tell someone. And don't take Yui. Everyone was
次まで連れ
worried.
出してみんな心配してんだぞ。
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
悪い悪い。
Anyway, just hurry back. Yui might be in danger.
それなら
Oh,
大丈
don't
夫
worry
だろ
about that.
ゆ
If
いちゃん
something
に何か
happens
あった
to
ら
Yui-chan, I'll
俺
do
が
an
手術
operation
して
to
直
fix
してや
her
る
right
から
up.
さ。
Huh?
あ
Good to know I have the same exact response as Takeru. Ito, on your way back, grab a rock so that I can chuck it at your big stupid head. So true. My mouth hung open for a second. Operation? What the hell is he talking about? I don't like that.
Huh?
Then I realized that I could hear muffled moans coming through the phone. Hey, Ito, is that Yui's voice? What are you doing?
何やってんだ
あのさ、
You know,
俺
I always wanted to
いつ
be
か
a
佐久
doctor
間
like
先
Dr.
生みたいな医者
Sakuma.
になろうと
And
思
did you
った
know
んだ
that?
な。知ってたか？
だから
I said,
何
what
して
are
んだ
you
よお前
doing?
やっ
This
ぱ
knife I
コンビ
bought
ニ
at
で
the
買った
convenience
ナイフじ
store
ゃ
doesn't really
切れ味
cut
が
that
悪い
well.
な。
This is
確
probably
か
gonna
に痛いだろう
hurt.
これじゃ。
おい
Ito, stop screwing around. Put Yui on the phone, now!
宮代、
Yashiro,
お前さ、
could you bring me a
急い
scalpel
で
and
持って
some
きてくれない
anesthetic
か？
real quick?
ちゃんと切れるメスと麻酔薬。あと、
Also,
骨
you
を切
got
る
that
ノコ
saw
ギリみ
thing
たい
that
な
cuts
のなかっ
bones?
たっけ？
I feel bad using this on Yui-chan.
ゆいちゃんがかわいそうだ。
He hung up. Yui! What's going on? Yui! I pushed the call button again and again with shaking fingers. But he must have turned off his phone because he didn't pick up. But what's going on? Why is Ito? My mind couldn't process this. It was too hard to believe.
タクル
Takeru, what happened to Yui?
どうかしたの？なんか
I heard
悲
what
鳴み
sounded
たいな
like
の
a
聞こえたけ
scream.
ど。
Big bro?
タクル兄ちゃん。
I suddenly felt like I was about to throw up. I shoved my face into the sink and tossed up everything I had in my stomach. It was like I was vomiting up hate, fear, and despair, and no matter how much I tried, it wouldn't stop. Takeru, what's wrong? When I had thrown up so much that there wasn't even any stomach fluid left, I turned around and saw Kurisu behind me. Kurisu, the phone. Call Shinja-san immediately. Huh? Yui's going to be killed. That was a sound. I let Kurisu handle getting in touch with Shinjo-san and ran out the emergency exit to the dorm. Yui, where are you? Answer me, Yui! My voice echoed down the rows of houses. Some nearby reporters ran over. What's wrong, kid? Did something happen? Did you see anybody come this way earlier? Huh? A boy about my size and a girl a little younger. Did you see them? Oh, those two? I tried to interview them, but they ignored me.
インタビューしようとしたら無視されたけど
Which way did they go?
確
I
か
think they went
あっち
that
だと思
way.
うけど
I ran in the direction he pointed to without stopping or looking behind me. Hey, you! I could hear them asking what happened, but I didn't have the time to tell them. Yui! Hiro! Where are you? I ran screaming the names of my little sister and best friend. It hurt to breathe, but I couldn't stop running. My only thoughts as I ran were of Yui's safety and Ito's strange behavior. Ito, why? What the hell are you doing? His tone had been the same as ever. It was the exact same tone he always used when he was laughing about the latest weird school gossip. So why would he do that to Yui? It had to be some kind of mistake. Because Ito wouldn't... No, wait. Besides, if there was another killer, they would have taken Minami-sawa Senri's place and killed someone on the 23rd. But nothing happened, which means we can rule out this possibility. So, let's just give up on the case already. Any more would only hurt the vice president even further. That's when I gave up on the idea of there being another sidekick. Ito used Kurusu to keep me from really having time to think. Then he took that important note down and threw it away. So that was deliberate? The more I thought about it, the more unbelievable it seemed. How long had I been running for? My throat was just dry and it stung. I was gasping for breath and in dire need of water. Sweat was dripping off of me. I was so out of breath that I couldn't think straight. Where am I? I looked around and saw that I was in a residential area shibuya that the reconstruction teams hadn't gotten around to yet. There were still a lot of abandoned houses. Even during the day, there was little foot traffic, and there were always rumors that at night, you could see the vengeful ghosts of the people who died in the earthquake wandering beneath the street lights. It wasn't that far from Alba Dorm, which meant that during my search, I must have circled back without knowing it. Just as I was about to turn around and head for Miyashita Park or Hekiho Academy, I heard a faint sound. A tiny noise like cloth being torn. I thought I might have imagined it, but it forced my aching looks forward to look in the alleyway where I had heard it anyway. The lights didn't reach into the alley, so I could see nothing but darkness. I could hear the sound of water going drip, drip, drip. Some house's pipe must have broken. I took another step forward into the darkness, like I was being drawn in by the sound. Suddenly, there were several sharp metallic clangs at my feet. I quickly jumped back, surprised. When my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I saw that there were fruit knives. And all of them were stained dark with something, their blades bent, broken in places. This knife I bought at the convenience store doesn't really cut that well. I felt something cold crawl up my back as I remembered Ito's words. Hey, Yui.
Yui?
Are you there?
いるのか?
Yui?
Yui?
I took another step forward. There was what felt like a puddle of water at my feet, and I heard a splash. But there was no answer. I took another step forward. The splash got louder. Then I realized that the liquid was sticking to my shoe. I looked down and saw that my shoe was stained with the same dark red color as the knives. This isn't just water. The wind must have changed course, because the moment I had that thought, I smelled something awful. I inhaled a full breath of the stench before I could even cover my nose and mouth. And then I looked toward the source of the smell. And when my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I could see it. I don't appreciate a callback to body parts of a younger sister in fucking gift boxes.
これ
What is this? It was the unpleasant, but somehow seductive and sweet smell of meat. I could see small boxes, laid out in the rough shape of a human body. It looked like some kind of grotesque homemade doll. The dark red liquid was flowing from those boxes. Not the one that says with heart. You're right, you're right. Oh man, that's unfortunately really funny. I suddenly felt an urge to throw up. How long did it take me to realize that I was staring at what was left of my little sister? Because of that, it took me a while to notice that the man further down the alley staring at... Yeah, to notice the man further down the alley staring at the pool of blood. You... Why? He was holding the murder weapon in his hand. It was dripping with blood. Why? Answer me, Ito! Ito hopped over what used to be Yui and spoke to me in the same casual tone he always used.
どうして
Why?
だって
I'm the one who should be asking
そ
you
れは俺の方
that.
の質問だよな
Huh?
お前さ
Why didn't you save her
なん
back
であの
then?
時助けなかったんだあの時
Back then?
なんで
Why did you
見捨てたん
abandon
だ
her?
捨てたって
Who are you talking about?
誰
Who? Senri died in so much pain.
千にはあんなに苦しんでただろうが
Senri? Minami-sawa's Senri? Why is he talking about her like that? Why is he talking about Senri of all people? So, tell me, how did it feel to lose someone you cared about? Does it feel to have nothing but regrets and to know how powerless you are? And felt nothing but confusion. What I was looking at didn't seem real. So I just stood there and stared at Ito's face, dumbfounded. She was everything to me, and you left her to die. But now my revenge can finally be complete. Ito, you... What was the relationship between Minami Senri and Ito? What happened between them? It didn't look like I'd even have time to think about it. Ito's knife got steadily closer to me.
次は
Now it's your time, Yashiro. Did you bring that scalpel and anesthetic?
それがなきゃ
If not, it's going to hurt real bad. Just like it did for Yui-chan.
ゆいちゃんみたいにな
Ito wore a murderer's smile. Oh, so that's how it's going to be. For some reason, I lost the capacity to think clearly. That was the only thought that was left. I'm not even going to look like a person when it's done with me. Just like Yui. The terror completely overwhelmed me. All I could do was stare into Ito's bloodshot eyes as they slowly approached me. And wait for the moment of my death. And then, I heard what sounded like a scream behind me. It was enough to bring me back to my senses. And he looked back and saw Kudishi standing under the streetlight, her shoulders heaving up and down. Ito-kun, what are you doing? Her eyes went wide when she saw the knife in Ito's hand. No, stay back! He'll kill you too. Get away from here, Kurisu. I wanted to tell her to get away, but only meaningless noises came out of my mouth. It was like my vocal cords had become paralyzed. Answer me, Ita-kun! Kurisu did the exact opposite of what I'd hoped she would. She ran into the alley, blocking my way out. And at the same time, she noticed the boxes filled with body parts and the stinking pool of blood. She gasped. What is this? Takeru? Yui. What happened to Yui? Tell me, where's Yui? Ah, it just connected why the chapter was called Betrayal. Okay. I was finally able to speak, but I couldn't answer her question. It was pathetic, but tears started to well up in my eyes. I couldn't stop them. Ito answered for me, flipping the knife from one hand to another as he spoke. No. Be careful, Vice President. Step on one of those boxes, and you won't be able to put Yui-chan back together again. Kurisu jumped back and started to shake as she stared at the boxes. This can't be happening. She sank to her knees and reached out toward what used to be Yui, not caring that she'd be soaked with blood. This can't be happening. No. She picked up something long and thin. It had a pretty nail on it, one which had never been manicured, even though its owner was old enough to be interested in makeup. It was Yui's finger. Come on, don't touch it. I did my best to make Yui-chan look like a pretty work of art. Why? Why? It's all Miyashiro's fault. He left me to Misa with Senri in agony. So I'm getting my revenge. Revenge for Senri? That's right. You must have heard even worse for her. She suffered. And even if she wanted to die from the pain of the experiments, she couldn't. Yui-chan was lucky. She got to die quick. When I heard those words, something snapped inside of me. The fog in my head cleared instantly, and my blood started to boil. You motherfucker! It was a rage I couldn't control. The next thing I knew, I'd leapt at Ito with my bare hands. He pointed the knife straight at me, as if he'd been waiting for this. I could tell it was pointed straight at my neck, my carotid artery. If I'd been more calm, I would have known better than to jump on him without any defenses. But now I couldn't hold back my anger. He must have thought he had me, because a cruel thin smile formed on Ito's lips. I knew I was going to die. I hoped that Kurisu at least might be able to get away. And the last thought that went through my head was, I'm sorry, Yui. Are you caught up in all this and you... If heaven was real, that was probably where Yui was going. But I knew without a doubt that I was going to hell. So I'd probably never see her again. But the moment of my death never came. Instead, I heard Kurisu scream. It was a violent sound, unlike anything I'd ever heard from her before. I looked in surprise and saw that she grabbed Ito from the side, and the two of them were rolling on the ground. I won't let you kill him! I won't let you kill Takaru! And the two of them were rolling around in Yui's blood. Stop it, Kurisu! Stop! He'll kill you! She didn't seem to hear me at all. She screamed like a wounded animal and tried to grab both of Ito's arms from behind. Her whole body was covered with Yui's blood, and each time she moved, her long hair flew up and sent dark red splashes everywhere. Ito tried to shake her off and punched her in the stomach. She moaned in pain when the blow hit her where she'd been stabbed before, but she still hung on desperately and refused to let go. You fucking piece of shit! I leapt on top of Ito without even thinking. I grabbed his hand that held the knife and smashed it to the ground with all of my might. And there was a dull snap as his fingers shattered, and the knife fell to the ground. And he kicked it far away. Kurisu, that's enough! Get off him! I put my full weight on Ito's back and pinned him to the ground. Let me go! Let me go! He was stronger than I thought, and he almost knocked me off, but I refused to let go. Are you okay, Kurisu? But she didn't seem to be able to answer my question. She sat down on the ground and tried to catch her breath. The shock seemed to have temporarily robbed her of her ability to breathe. Big tears fell from her eyes, and when she finally caught her breath, she started to sob. Vice President, you want to blame somebody. Blame Miyashiro. If he hadn't abandoned Senri back then, I never would have done this. Right, Miyashiro? This whole case is Miyashiro's fault. I masterminded all of the murders. The entire point of the Return of the New Gen Madness was to drive him into a corner and destroy him. How can you call yourself a right-sider when you couldn't even figure that out? Isn't that ironic, Miyashiro? That can't be true. People died because of me. If I found the truth faster, you wouldn't have died. You're lying. Kurisu's voice was so soft that I couldn't hear what she was saying.
Huh? Kurisu.
You're lying. Everything you're saying is a lie, Ito-kun. Kurisu jerked her face upward without bothering to hide her tears. She stood up, enraged, and screamed into the sky. Who are you? Why did you make Ito-kun do this? Whoever you are, that's out there laughing at us. Who are you?
Kurisu.
I know you're watching. Whoever did this to my precious little sister, who are you? Something red dripped down off Kurisu's skirt. Was it Yui's blood, or had Kurisu's own injury opened again? But what are you saying, Kurisu? Ito-kun never knew Senri. Someone just made him think he did. Huh? What are you talking about? I loved Senri, and this is my revenge. That's a lie. I was with Senri all the time, and she never met you. So there's no reason you would want revenge.
センリはあなたに会ったことなんてない。なのに復讐なんてありえない。
Don't be stupid. I love Senri. That's why I'm doing this. For her.
センリのために。
I could tell that Ito's body was starting to shake underneath me. His teeth were chattering like he was afraid of something.
それも全部
That's just another lie. Senri never even knew that you existed, so there's no way you ever had the chance to fall in love with her.
あなたがセンリを愛しているはずがない。
No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Ito. Ito flailed about. Foamy bubbles were pouring from his mouth. His bloodshot eyes had rolled up into his head, and they were so swollen that they looked like they might burst out of their sockets. And then... Suddenly, blood started to pour out of both his eyes. It wasn't Yui's. It was very clearly his own. It hurts. It hurts, it hurts. When I recoiled, he crawled out from under me, and then curled up on the ground. He grabbed his head with his hands and started to spasm and flail about. It hurts so much. My head's going to burst. Hey, Ito.
伊藤君
Ito scratched his head furiously, and then started to bang it against the ground. Stop it! No, Ito-kun! Kurisu and I grabbed him and tried to stop him. His forehead had split open, and the blood coming out of it mixed with the blood coming out of his eyes. It was impossible to even tell what he looked like now. But he shook us off and started to jerk and flail some more. Let me go, Yashiro! I'll make you pay for abandoning Senri, because I loved Senri? No, Senri. Minami-san. Oh, Senri. That's right. She's the killer. The one who went after Miyashiro. Watch out, Miyashiro. She's going to come after you again. Senri hates you because you abandoned her. That's why I'm getting revenge. So it's your fault that Yui-chan died. No, wait. Is it mine? Did this to Yui-chan? It was me.
ゆいちゃんをこんなにしたのかよ。俺がIto.
Ito was shouting loudly, but he wasn't making any sense. It was as if what Kurisu had said was right, and someone was controlling his brain. Oh wait, I did this to Yui-chan? I always thought Yui-chan was such a good kid. She got along with Miyashiro so well. I was so jealous. But yeah, I guess I killed her. For Senri. So, is Senri again? God, it's a good thing they have a cop friend that's also in on this Giglomaniac stuff. Yeah. Suddenly, Ito's laughter cut off, and he froze like a toy whose batteries had run out. And then all the strength drained from his body, and he collapsed on the spot. Kurisu and I together couldn't support the full weight of an unconscious person, so we all fell to the ground. Neither of us could move for a while. We were just lying there, holding Ito between us. And staring at the bloody boxes that held our little sister.
Yui.
Yeah, that's fair. I could have just started to cry like a little girl. No, there's nothing little girl about sobbing hard because your little sister got brutally murdered. But there's nothing I could say to her. Because I felt like I was going to cry too. And it was all I could do to just barely stop myself. Oh, just cry, you pussy. I could hear many footsteps in the distance. And it was either change of sound in the police. Maybe the reporters around Alba dorm. If it's the media. Don't let them take pictures of Yui like this. Please. Please. I closed my eyes tight. I didn't want to see anything else. I didn't want to hear anything else.
ダメだよ
That's not good,
タクル
big
に
bro. Big
のの
sis
れ
is
って
still really
本
just
当
a
はま
little
だ子
kid
供なん
inside.
だから
So you need to
タク
support
ル兄
her.
が支えてあげなくっちゃね
Maybe it was her ghost. When I closed my eyes, I could see Yui, smiling gently. Chapter 9, Duel. Where entangled intentions gather. God. Okay. Well, anyways. Let's read the tips that we skipped over. There's only 2. Telephone harassment and dead content. Okay. Telephone harassment refers to the act of making unsolicited telephone calls to an individual or group. More specifically, it is when said individual or group has done something wrong, and as a result, people, often internet users, call them en masse in order to interrogate or insult them. While it is supposedly done out of a sense of justice or righteous anger, in reality, many people do it just for fun or because everyone else is doing it. Yeah, the only time I skipped the tips and there's only 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised there aren't that many, but... Dead content. Net slang originating in the 2000s. Often used to refer to a game, anime, or news phenomenon that is past its prime and that no one pays attention to anymore. Nowadays, the term has become strained, with many users employing it to mock content that is still popular, e.g. dead meme, dead series, or dead joke. It's also often used to refer to things that haven't fully run their course and or have a passionate fan base as a form of insult or harassment. Fuck, dude. You think that's probably the most that's ever happened in at once in one of these games? Hell, you have a hard time thinking of other games where this much happens at one time. Yeah, that's fair. Fuck, dude. Just fuck, dude. Man. Just man. And a city was destroyed in the first science adventure game. I know, Shibuya was destroyed, absolutely, and this still takes the cake for most that's happened at once. That's heavy, dude. God, okay. What am I looking for? This button. Okay, well, that was the Chaos Child portion of this stream. How are your feelings doing? I know mine aren't doing particularly great. Fuck, dude. Ugh. That was rough. It's been a while since I've had to hound Peachy. It's like, hey, you need to catch up on what happened last time. Because, yeah, Peachy's gonna need to catch up on what she missed. Peachy's having a much better time. Peachy's out watching Wicked right now with her mom. Very different. Very different. You can handle it better than back then, but you haven't felt like this since the first time you watched Devilman Crybaby. Honestly, that's fair, understandable. I get you. I understand. Fuck, dude, this is loaded. Ugh. Man. Okay. I would feel silly ending stream completely here, because then I'm like, I don't know. I'm torn. Because on one hand, it's the better part of the hour till my slot. I think I'll just keep streaming. I will talk at you all while I eat food, I think is part of the plan. And we might start on what I was planning on doing in the break, or during the raid train portion earlier than anticipated. I am glad I gave us plenty of time, because that gives us plenty of time to process this. Man, this is a lot. For YouTube, this is where we will be parting ways. I will stop the recording and then record the next part, but the stream for YouTube will be ending here. But man, I don't even have anything to say, dude. Like, because like in the first game with Chaos Head, like there was a point where Misumi, Takumi's like best friend, was like had a CG with him with a bloodied knife, but that was just a delusion. That was just a delusion. This is not just a delusion. Fuck. Man. This man. It does make me wonder what's gonna happen the next chapter, and of course the following chapter. I have really no idea how this common route will end. I am very interested to find out, and I hope you guys are also intrigued. We'll be finding out in a couple weeks from now, apparently. That's just crazy. But fuck, that was a lot, dude. That was a lot. But for the YouTube side of things, thank you guys so much for joining. I know you guys weren't particularly talkative today, but I still appreciate your support, even if you're only here for like a few seconds, like, I don't like this, and swiped away. I still appreciate your little viewership count. But yeah, I'm probably gonna be thinking about this until next time, and oh god, I'm gonna have to revisit this when I'm editing the video, and it's like, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be so much fucking fun. It's okay. I do like when my visual novels make me feel intensely. But fuck, dude. Yeah. Ending YouTube stream now. Ending the output. Oh boy. Okay, now it's just us, Twitch. You can talk shit about YouTube now. Not that you ever did. Also, some of you are in ads anyway. Okay, let's officially end that. I should announce on Blue Sky that we'll be moving over. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and stop.